Happy Halloween,
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Welcome back to RAD Dudes. Cody, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. I'm ready and excited about Halloween. And you know what's crazy? It hasn't felt like Halloween at all this year or this month at all until I started watching these specials. And I was like, okay. So I think that's what brings me back to Halloween is watching these specials and not horror movies, because I watch horror movies all year round kind of thing.
You know, I kind of agree with you for sure. I mean, today definitely didn't feel like Halloween because, you know, it's a Tuesday. I worked all day, just a normal Tuesday, and in my life. And then when I got home, I had to rush, and I took him out, and that was fun. That was really fun. And it did feel fall out here. Like it's kind of like that cool. It was kind of cold actually, but I had all the leaves in the ground, and it was dark pretty early. So I mean, it felt fall. But I think you're right. Like I went back and started watching some old retro Halloween specials just to kind of remember some of these things that I wanted to talk about tonight. And you're right, it does make a huge difference, when you're watching these things rather than just the same old movies that you watch, year after year, and even when it's not even Halloween.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's weird because I'm kind of like not burnt out. I don't want to say burnt out, but like once it gets to Halloween, I'm kind of like done watching horror movies for a while. So like the last couple of years on Halloween night, I've been double featuring Casper and the Addams Family Values. So it's like I don't know, because that's just what is like. It took me back to my childhood, to where it's like I watch Halloween all year round, so I don't need to watch it on Halloween kind of thing.
Hey man, I kind of agree with you too, because when you watch these movies that are almost like gateway horror movies, and that could be some of the TV specials we talk about tonight, which absolutely, in my opinion, were gateways into the horror genre. And then, like you said, even some of these movies like Casper and Addams Family and stuff like that, like you're right, like watching these things around this time is just kind of brings you back into when Halloween was really, really super important and special when you were a kid. And, it was magical to you the same way Christmas was at the time. And, like you said, just watching horror movies over and over again, where, we do that all year round. So it's not as special than when you go back in time. And, with this show tonight, we wanted to do this because last show that we did was the TGIF show. And man, the coolest, I think, feedback that we got with this, and I know we had mentioned it and talked about it, was that people just felt like that episode unlocked memories that they forgot about. And that's huge for me. And that's really what I want to kind of utilize this show for, is like, hey, let's talk about 80s and 90s and mostly 90s stuff or whatever. But to get people who are watching this to be like, oh my God, I remember that, So, kind of dedicating some of these shows and taking that angle of like, let's talk about some things growing up, but let's see if we can unlock some memories that maybe some people forgot about.
I totally agree. And the feedback we got from the TGIF episode was great. It kind of melted my heart. So it was great. So I'm glad people enjoyed that. And I'll tell you what, this whole list could have been filled with TGIF shows too. I'll tell you what.
Well, you know what? I was doing some research on that too. And I was like, wow, I don't remember, I'm sure I saw some of them. I know Step by Step was doing Halloween episodes, but for some reason they haven't stuck in my memory. So, if we can touch upon some of those tonight, I'm curious to remember, see if I start to remember these, because I just looked at them and it said oh, they had some. And I was like, oh, I don't really remember that. Same thing with Perfect Strangers. I'm like, I don't really remember the Halloween episodes like I do other sitcoms, but they were all doing it back then.
Yeah. And I actually have two of them on my list, so we will touch on them.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. All right. Because I had to add them on because I was like, man, they're just too good.
No, I mean, I'm super down because, again, I want to see if I can unlock memories with what you're talking about, and then even go back and kind of watch these things. And I know with Step by Step, I think the whole series is coming out soon. It'll be cool to go back and check those out. Now, is it out already, or is it coming out?
September 26th it came out.
Oh, it already came out?
Yeah, it came out. I did not. I don't have it yet. I did not. I totally forgot to pre-order it. It was around the time where I was going to Halloween 45.
Yeah, you needed every nickel you needed.
So in my mind, I was like, okay, when I get back, I'm going to order all this stuff. And it's just, dude, I came back and all of a sudden it was Halloween night. I was just like, I think leading up to Halloween, that was my Halloween. So once I was done with the Halloween 45, to me, Halloween was over. And I was like, oh no, Halloween's just starting. So But yeah, it just went by so
And it's just like
fast.
anything else, man. It's the physical media game right now is so hard to keep up. Like, you know, we're in some group chats and every day someone's
Hmm.
messaging like, "Hey, did you guys pre-order this?" And I'm like, "Oh man, I haven't yet." Like, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, spent, you know, X amount of money like just this week." And I'm like, "I forgot I haven't even ordered this
Hmm.
in step by step is being one." And it is one I want to grab because I thought for sure like once Suzanne Summers died, I'm like, "Oh shit, that thing's going to be hard to get probably," you know?
Hmm.
So I
Yeah.
definitely jump on that.
Yeah. That and Family Matters came out on the same day, so those are both available.
Too.
Yeah.
All right,
But
I'm
yeah,
gonna
like, you know, I was the guy who ordered that expensive set for for Super
Alf.
Mario Brothers. Well, and Elf.
Oh,
Yeah, I do
I
have Elf
haven't
too.
ordered the Mario one yet, which I really want because you know what? Actually, and I don't want to say it on here because by the time we're done and I go to order it, everybody else will buy it already. But you know, I have the Blu-ray from Second Sight. I really like it. You know, getting it in 4K, I'm like, yeah, I do want it, but like, do I need that big set? Well, I was looking it up the other day, and it's a little pricey, but it said something on there like, you know, lost scripts or something like that, where like
Hmm.
maybe they tell you about other scripts that came through that they didn't use. And I had heard about rumors like that for many years, but to
Yeah.
actually have them written down from a company, I'm like, shoot, man, like that just I think that just kind of won me over with this whole thing right now.
Yeah, and I don't mind spending a little more money on a movie like Mario because Mario's not going to get that treatment again, or movies like that.
Sure.
Like things like Halloween. Every year there's another Halloween, coming out, another Halloween edition coming out. But when something like Super Mario Brothers, I don't know when we're going to get that again.
No, I mean, we're lucky. I don't even think the US has even put out a Blu-ray yet, right? Because my
No,
Blu-ray
no.
is Second Sight, which is overseas, and the
Hmm.
4K is Umbrella, which is overseas as well. So, I mean, I'm sure Super Mario is not on anybody's list of things to do. Number one, and number two, they're not going to give it treatment like that. And if they would have, they would have
Hmm.
done it when the new movie came out. That would have been like the perfect time to kind of re-release it, and they kind of missed the boat on it. So,
Exactly.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna probably just snag that. I think it's just gonna I just gotta wait for some things to die down first. But
Yeah, dude, I know
before
what
we
you
get
mean.
started on our list, I do want to go in and talk to the chat and just see who's in the house because again, it is Halloween night, and I'm assuming there's probably other things going on as far as family stuff, or everybody's watching horror movies, or other people are streaming. So the fact that everybody's in here and hanging with us, I definitely appreciate it, guys, and
Yeah.
stick around because again, we're gonna talk about some old school stuff right now. Pat Master, what is going on, man? Thank you so much for becoming a channel member, Pap. I appreciate all your support all the time.
Yeah, buddy.
Starships of Greatness, what is up, man? Adrian James says, what's up? What's going on, Adrian? Magic Hands, thank you. Starship says, Rad dudes, it's party time. Excellent. Rad dudes, Rad dudes. Bog Zombie, happy Halloween to you. TJ Frizzy, happy Halloween, dudes. Witches Night Out was a crazy fun kids cartoon, Sexy Bikini Vampire for some reason. Trust me, we're going to talk about that one tonight. Killer Pizza, what's up, man? Rad dudes. Thank you, Foz. Happy Halloween to you. Happy Halloween. Let me see who's in the house. Jush. Happy Halloween, man. Steve, happy Halloween, man. Let me see what we got coming through here. Frightful Media, what is going on? Happy Halloween to you.
Mhm.
Let me see what's going on. What he says here. Got told by 11-year-olds today that I have poor taste in film, so I didn't like Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, I mean, again, I did a review on Five Nights at Freddy's. Cody, I don't know if you checked it out and what your thoughts on it. I mean, I'll tell you this. As far as the aesthetic of it and the animatronic aspect of it, like I was pretty mind blown that it was that practical of effects, and I appreciate that. I think aesthetically the movie looked
Mhm.
amazing. Um, I think
It's Jim Henson,
maybe
right?
because I've never played the games,
Yeah.
I was a little bit lost at some parts, or they just added a story in that to me just didn't really do the movie any favors.
Mhm.
But I also can say, you know, maybe this one was kind of like trying to set a backstory where maybe the next one will be a little bit more for what I was looking for, where I feel like we didn't spend enough time with these animatronics that I wanted,
Mhm.
but maybe they needed to build up a story first. But it seems like a lot of the fans pretty much liked it. I think there was some problems that some people had that like are really deep into it, but I mean, I think as far as the look, I mean, I think it looks fantastic. And again, if it's not my favorite movie of the year, not even close. I mean, will I ever watch the first one again? I probably wouldn't unless like my son gets old enough where he wants to check it out, because I do think that it's nice to see a movie that could be considered a big gateway horror movie for kids. And that's what I think this one is going to do, which I hope it does, because we had movies like that, which, you know, they're not out there that much. There's not ones that you can really say, hey, you know what, I'm going to show my kid this because there wasn't much gore. It was scary enough. And that's kind of my whole take on it.
That's how I feel about Megan. So I went to a convention. Well, first of all, when I went and saw Halloween Ends, I was sitting next to this family with like kids and stuff, and they were going crazy for the Megan trailer. And I was like, okay, so this movie's meant for them, because they were like so excited for that trailer. Anyways, fast forward, the movie comes out, and I'm seeing the movie, and there's a lot of kids, and I'm like, this is kind of weird. But I did enjoy the movie, but the kids enjoyed it too, and they were quiet watching. They were fine. They didn't bother me or anything. But then I go to a convention where the girl Amy Donalds is there, who plays her the doll herself, Megan. And man, it was supposed to be like a Terrifier weekend, so I thought I'd see like Art the Clown everywhere, but no, I saw little girls dressed like Megan everywhere. So I was like, wow, so this movie is actually like, this movie's building horror fans. Like, this is a perfect gateway for them, and that's how I feel like Freddy got fingered. That's a different movie. Five Nights at Freddy's going to be like, I've never seen I've never played the game. I don't know anything about it, but I do know. I know spoiler alerts, because I do want to see it. Because I saw, like Jim Henson did all the puppeteering or all the animatronics, and Matthew Lillard. I'm a big fan of Matthew Lillard, and I know because Matthew Lillard mentioned that he signed on for 3 movies. So obviously they're gonna keep this going, and it made a lot of money, especially for coming out. Especially for coming out on Peacock the same day. That's like Halloween. Wish they could do that. Like,
oh my god, it's probably, I think they said, what, the fastest and highest grossing horror movie like for the last couple of years. It's killing it, which is great to see that like younger people are getting into it. Like I said, I knew of it, but I don't know anything about it. I never played a game. I've heard of the characters, but being a big fan of like Chuck E. Cheese, which is what I had back here. I know some people had like that Showbiz pizza or whatever. I loved that as a kid. So the aesthetic of like the pizzeria and the video games and the kids' little like fun house there with the animatronics, like that, resonated with me a lot. But again, I think it was just a little too, I'm not even gonna say it was too kid friendly, because I don't mind movies like that, but I just didn't like really care for the story. Didn't hook me that they were trying to tell, like, besides what was going on with them. That was like a whole backstory with the main character. It just didn't really work for me. It kind of drew me out of the movie. But man, I'll tell you, I loved Megan so much. And to be honest, if Amy Donalds or whatever was at a convention, I probably would slide my Megan poster over there and have her sign it.
Dude, she's sure. I mean, super nice lady.
Yeah, man.
Or a little girl, I should say. Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely have her sign that Megan poster. I mean, you never know. This thing, she's doing conventions now, and you don't know what her career is going to look like. You get her thing on a Megan poster, and all of a sudden, the whole franchise and she takes off. I mean, that's a pretty good piece, to have in your collection for sure. And now they're even saying something like they want to maybe do a crossover with Chucky. I mean, I think that would be kind of interesting, but I'm hoping to get a couple sequels out of Megan first.
Yeah, I think so too. And the thing that sucks about Megan is that if you want her to play Megan again, you're going to have to do it kind of soon, because at her age, I don't know if she's 12 or 13, but I'm pretty sure she's going to start growing up real quick. So she's going to get a lot taller. And I want her to play Megan just because she did all of her own stunts. That's unheard of for a kid to do her stunts like that. So that's crazy. And when
I agree,
and I was watching her panel, and she's like, I've done, because she used to be a professional dancer, and she said that she's accomplished everything she could in dance. That's crazy to hear, that she accomplished everything in the world of dance by the age of 10. So that she has a bright future,
Oh, definitely. I mean, you look at what was the big issue with the Rob Zombie Halloween 2 was they said Dave Furch was too big by the time they got the sequel going. So they like changed him up, which I thought was a huge mistake. Yeah. And then even like look at 11, like she wants to get done with the Stranger Things thing, because she looks like she's like 25 years old. Yeah. So she's like, let's get this over with here. Like, how much older do you want me to look to play this role? And all these strikes and COVID and stuff didn't help that show at all, because now everything's like on hold, and it's like these kids are just getting older, and it's going to be harder to kind of, they need to get this show done with now.
Yeah. I know. I was reading because I like the show Tulsa King with Stallone, and I was like, oh, when is season 2 coming out? Hopefully they finish filming it. Dude, they haven't even started filming it, and they don't plan. They said if the strike ends at the beginning of the year, they'll film it at the end of next year, so it won't come out till 2025. It's like, man, Stallone's getting up there, so it's like,
that's right.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
all
like,
these shows. I mean, even like Cobra Kai's got one more season left, and like these
Mhm.
kids are just getting older. I mean, it's just wasting a lot of time, right
Mhm.
now. And I hope they come to some kind of decision because, like we both said, all these people are getting older, and it's like, how much time can you waste before all of a sudden it just doesn't work anymore for whatever which reason, and you're going to lose like
Yeah.
all your top shows because of this.
Well, and it costs money to keep these people contracted to do this one thing. So a lot of networks and stuff like that will just cancel a show because they're like, well, it's the ratings aren't the highest, and it's too expensive to keep them waiting.
No, that's definitely true for sure. We got JA says in here he's a big fan of Charlie Brown, the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. Oh, definitely. I mean, that's a staple. I mean, I'm hoping that that's something that still gets played on a regular. Again, I don't watch network TV, so I don't know like what's out anymore.
No, a couple years ago they took it off the air. I think now it's exclusive to Apple TV, and it makes me mad because that was a staple for every kid. They would turn on the TV, watch it for free, even if you didn't have cable. It was on like your network channel or your local channel every year.
Did they only remove it just to put it on a streaming service, or did they remove it because of like issues that they had with it?
I think they removed it just so people would get Apple TV.
Okay,
and so I could be wrong if it's back,
but that includes all Charlie Brown then.
I don't know, but I know that they, I don't know about Charlie Brown Christmas, but I know that they wanted people to go over there and Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown was on them. So I'm sure the Christmas one is on there as well, which is a shame.
I love the Thanksgiving one a lot too. So that's another one that was always a big staple to me. Especially because you didn't get a ton of Thanksgiving specials back then. So that was always one.
Yeah.
Don Morton, what's up? Happy Halloween to you. Noise Loop popped in to say hello, happy Halloween. Got to catch the replay tomorrow. Closing the holiday trick or treat. Awesome, man. Enjoy it. Look at this. Everybody's look what we started, Cody. Everybody's Roseanne out right now.
Dude,
a little bit of Roseanne talk, and now it's all over the place.
I know.
Everywhere.
Dude, if you guys haven't seen Planet CHH, he did a reel today. It is phenomenal. He's doing the theme song. I think it's awesome.
I saw that. He's playing the theme song in the car. So cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Make sure to roundhouse kick that like button, everybody. Hit that like button for your boys over here. Blu-ray Addict, what's going on? Happy Halloween to you. Mid-level says, what's up, Rad Dudes? Up all night. Yeah, look at this. Round knife pumpkin carve that like button. Kenny Levels knows what's going on. It is a Rad up all night.
It is.
It is a Rad up all night. The Foch, man. Look at him.
Love
me some Garrett and the dude. Hell yeah, man. Thank you so much. He says the dude loves Ernest and Stupid. Oh, he loves it. Hell yeah, great flick, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh, mid-level's talking Five Nights. My son was super into Five Nights and Lore, and he said it was a completely faithful adaptation. Yeah, I mean, I saw some clips on TikTok of kids like flipping out in the theater, and I couldn't tell if they were flipping out of joy or if they were flipping out about something that didn't go right. I don't know, but they were literally like on the ramp, like screaming, like, you gotta be kidding, yo, like what the heck? And I couldn't tell if it was like a good happy or like they were mad. I couldn't tell what their mindset was on that.
I also heard that they were trying to put 3 movies into the first one, but I could be totally wrong. Like, again, I know nothing about, like, I'm someone who I don't know if it's called Five Nights of Freddy or Five Nights at Freddy. So that's how
Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah.
Okay. So that's how much I know about that.
I don't even know what kind of game it is. Like, is it like I tried to look it up. It looked like it was like a point and click, but then to me, I'm thinking to myself, kind of like, the kids are into this. Like, it just doesn't seem like a game that kids nowadays would do. Like, it was one of those ones where, unless I just saw like a menu screen, but like it almost looked like it's almost like you take a mouse and you click something and then you go to that thing or whatever. And you were looking at different cameras. I don't know. It just, to me, I was like, wow, I'm shocked that this is what these kids are into, because it just didn't seem like as action packed as I would think kids nowadays would want.
I also think it was like 5 years too late, but what do I know? Because it's, making a lot of money. So what do I know?
I did hear that. There was some people saying it was 8 years too late, but hey, I don't know. TJ, I don't know. I mean, again, I'm sure there's a couple games at this point. So, I mean, I don't know how easy it would be to go back and try to learn them all, but maybe if you do like some walkthrough, like on YouTube or something like that, just to get an idea of what's going on. I didn't know anything about this. So, I mean, I was just a little bit confused at some points, but I mean, I don't know if it was just, I just didn't like the storyline or if I was just missing some things that I just didn't know about. What's up, Fish? What up, man?
A fish called Andy.
You.
How you doing, buddy?
Fish called Andy. Dylan says he met Jason Patrick and Kiefer this past week. They're both very cool dudes. Oh, that's cool, man. Hell yeah. Lost Boys Forever indeed. I met both of them too. Super cool. Super cool. All right. People are chiming in. Keep chiming in. We'll get back to it. But if we don't start this list, we're going to be here all night long. All right. So how we're going to do this, guys, and I figured this might be the easiest, is I'll say a movie. Him and I will talk about it. Maybe he knows stuff about it. Maybe he doesn't. And then what we can do is I can even pull it up on Google and just flash a couple images of it. Because, again, some of these might be ones that either some of us don't know, like him or I, or even you guys. So I'm going to try to kind of add some images into it so you guys can see it. And then we'll just kind of brief on it. But I feel like the easiest way to go to start, and we can kind of touch through these, but I'm gonna pick the big three right now. And I mean, these could be part of our list, but not. But to me, when it comes to Halloween specials, as a kid, sitcoms really, blew it out of the water with how much love it was giving the holiday of Halloween. And to me, it always felt like an event. And the last time I felt that way, and again, this is somebody who does not watch television, so you might tell me that Big Bang Theory has amazing Halloween specials. It probably does. I've just never seen the show, so I don't know. I mean, the most current Halloween specials from a sitcom that I saw that I was like, wow, it actually feels kind of like the old days was the Goldbergs. Now, that was a show that I was watching on the regular. I don't even know if it's still on, but I haven't watched it. I think the last episode I saw was probably when they had Freddy on.
Yeah,
a couple Halloweens ago.
Yeah, it ended after their 10th season, so I think last year it ended. Because I watched it to the end.
So it's over?
It's over, yes.
That was a cool show, man, though, huh?
Yeah, but they had some controversy, with the dad. He quit during the season 9 because he was very rude to people on set and stuff like that. So they had to kill off the dad. The grandpa died in real life. So. Oh
yeah, that's right. So what happened to the dad in the show? What happened to Jeff?
They had him die of, I think, a heart attack. So they kind of fast forward it a little bit. Yeah.
Now I wonder if, because it was kind of like the Wonder Year situation, kind of where basically he was telling his life story through the show. Now I wonder if his dad had passed and he used that as an angle.
Yes, actually, yes, I did see that his dad passed from melanoma cancer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
melanoma,
they didn't use the same thing.
No, yeah, I think they needed to do something, quick. Because like I said, he there's 2 episodes left of one season and he was fired, kind of thing.
I see. I remember the controversy, but I didn't know what ended up happening from it.
I get, he was, I think he's from older, I guess he would say really inappropriate things on set, which you can't do now. And, so they
I mean, I'm sure, especially working with younger gen people, it probably didn't fly as well as it did if he was working beside Larry David on a show. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
That's probably Probably. Yeah. That sucks too, because I feel like he was a great character in that show. But that was the last one. But the big three for me, when I think of Halloween, and you may even have more than me, but to me as a kid growing up, it was always Roseanne, Home Improvement, and The Simpsons. Those three to me were always the go-to, oh my God, I can't wait to see what they do this year. And, going back and watching them, I actually watched, and I know we talked about Roseanne briefly, is that I posted this and people kind of going nuts for it. And this is a DVD that is just Roseanne, all the Halloween episodes. And it was actually put out by Anchor Bay, which was a big time, horror company back in the DVD days. And every time you saw this little boat logo, you knew you were going to get a cool horror movie from, any time frame, I guess, right? But they did the Roseanne Halloween DVD, which is really cool, and it's different and unique. So I post this and people are really kind of going nuts for it. So I made sure for the show, I went back and just rewatched all of these episodes for it. And they were all good. Some were wackier than others. But I think when it comes down to it, I wanted to just kind of like break out a couple big ones. But to me, I think my favorite out of them, man, you know, there was some good ones. Like the first was really good. The one thing about Roseanne is they always had really good costumes. All the kids, the parents, the costumes was so
gory too. You know, yeah, like this is gory stuff for TV.
Oh my God. And that's what I was going to bring up, is that there's one episode I wanted to kind of touch upon called Trick Me Up, Trick Me Down. And it starts with Roseanne faking that she murdered Dan.
Mm-hmm.
And they have like these new neighbors that move in, and the neighbor comes over and sees Dan like gutted on like the kitchen table. And then Roseanne,
his intestines are all out. Yeah.
Yeah. And the lady's like freaking out, and she's like, can I, do you have something I can, I don't know if she said, do you have somewhere I can store them, or like, can I put them in your garbage disposal or whatever she said, and like freaked this woman out. And then the whole episode was basically, they had like a holiday party, and like they did that skit where, I don't know if you can see it here, but Dan was like, he played where she was like the dummy on his lap, and they were doing like a little bit. I always remember that from being a kid. And then the whole episode was basically like Roseanne wondering if that lady was going to try to get her back for playing that prank on her. So again, that whole bit with the ventriloquist skit that they did was always super cool in my head. The costumes are great. The whole bit was great. And then, like I said, like we talked about, the gore at the beginning of that episode, I'm watching, I'm like, dude, there's no way they could do this now.
Yeah.
Like, even if they're just joking around.
Well, even that one episode where Dan really breaks his nose or whatever, and it's supposed to be real blood. I was like, that's a lot of like real blood, like I understand them getting away with it being like, oh, it's fake blood, this and that. But no, he broke his nose. He was like, there's blood gushing out of his nose. It's like, yeah, they don't do that. You wouldn't be able to see the blood. They'd have it covering their mouths, and
right. I mean, even freaking wrestling doesn't really like to show blood anymore.
Oh yeah, I know.
Crazy it is. Like there was another one episode on here where I think Dan pretended that he cut his fingers off with a circular saw, and he came in and
squirting everywhere,
and it was squirting all up in the air. And then there was another scene where he put his hand in the garbage disposal. I mean, it was like some really graphic stuff for like a cable television show.
Yeah, and when Dan cut his fingers off, he goes around to the window and squirts it through the window at him. It's like, I was like, like people see that now and be like, "Oh, that's Terrifier level," like.
It was wild, man, and
it was great, man.
They just killed it with those episodes, and it really did feel like an event. Every year you were waiting, like, oh my God, are they going to top it last year? Like, it was so important. Now, I know we're a little bit different in age. Was this something that you remember watching when it aired, or is this something that you kind of went back to and watched it?
Yeah, I watched Roseanne live. So as it was going on. So I was born in 88, and obviously I think their first one was 89. So I was old enough to watch them. Just like say I started watching it in 92, I would always watch the reruns and stuff like that from the ones that were before it. So I watched those live. A lot of these shows I watched live. Actually, all these shows I watched live. I may have not have kept to it till the end, just because that's when I got older and that I went off and did other things, and things happened. Like Roseanne got a little weird. Like I was telling Garrett earlier, the last two Halloween specials are really out there. Like there's one where she has a baby and she's dreaming about Jerry Garcia, and then it's like a tribute for Jerry Garcia at the end. And then there's, like I know you guys know, like the last season, the family wins the lottery, and she's like rich, and then Jackie's dating Jim Varney. He's like a prince. It's just it gets a little wild. And I was saying because the second to last Halloween episode says the final Halloween, or is that what it is, the final Halloween episode,
final chapter?
Yeah, the final chapter or whatever. But then they have one more after that, so I'm kind of wondering if they were going to end it, and then Roseanne's like, oh no, let's do one more season, but like Dan was like, hey, I have to go off and do something else. And so like maybe that's why they killed him off, because they killed him off in the show. And I noticed that they bring back the other Becky too. So I knew it was the original Becky, and then the new Becky, and then it went back to the original Becky. I didn't know it went back to the new Becky again for the last season until I was watching.
Well, what's funny is that I don't remember. So in one of these Halloween episodes,
Yeah, she's at the door.
The original Becky's back, but then the new Becky comes in as a different character. It was weird. It was like it was just so wild, that they kind of did that. And it's funny that you bring up. I'm starting to remember now, like the Jerry Garcia stuff. Like I remember all that. And what else I didn't realize, I totally forgot, is that in one of these Halloween episodes, Jackie's dating George Clooney.
Yeah,
like, I forgot that. Like
Booker,
he was like a young guy, like Booker. Yeah, like Booker.
yeah. He used to be their manager at the like I forget. They worked at some kind of plant, like, and they were on like the like the assembly line. He was their boss. This was before. Remember that? Yeah, this was before. Before place. Yeah, or before ER. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So what I'll do is I'll really quick. I'm gonna pull up some. See if we can get some cool costumes going from Roseanne. Let's see.
Dude, you know what I like too is not David. What's his name? Mark. No, not Mark. DJ. When he was Alfalfa and he comes in as the Terminator, like
Alfalfa-nator. That's is so great.
That's probably another thing they couldn't do. Like I'm sure they can't show kids with guns. He had a machine gun.
No,
they can't show
huge gun.
Yeah,
huge gun. All right, let's see if I can pull. I can't see what's going on here. So can you see this on the screen, Cody?
I can. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure the chat can, because I'm looking at this, I can't necessarily.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, I can.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. All right, so see, so if you look at some of the costumes, you got that one right there, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
This was funny too. This one here,
yeah,
because can you see that all right with the birds and Hannibal Lecter?
Yeah.
And it was funny because she's like, "What am I going to do with them?" And she's like, "Oh, just bring them to the party and just roll them in and just go. We'll pick them up later and just put them against the wall or something like that."
Yeah. Make sure when you put them in the back seat, it's face up.
And then you got this one here. That was the one I was talking about where they did that one.
Yeah.
And then this was cool too, where Jackie was underneath the pan or whatever.
It was actually kind of scary. I was like, oh shit.
It was pretty scary, yeah, for sure.
Dude, you notice in all these shows back in the day, they always had that head trick. I feel like that always popped up in things. Was the like they're underneath it, but it looks like it's just their head sitting there. Like
I think Home Improvement did that with Al, remember?
With Al, yeah. Yeah, I feel like it was in everything. Yeah.
I'm trying to find the one where Dan had the Three Stooges.
Oh yeah, and you couldn't get through the door or whatever.
That was a great costume, man. This was funny too.
Yeah, You know what's crazy? You mentioned in the chat like the day prior about the whole episode where DJ wanted to be a witch, and Dan didn't want to, and I was like, oh wow, that's probably not an episode they could show now. Well, anyways, I watched it and I actually really like that one a lot because Dan has this cool arc in there. Like it's not that he doesn't want his son to dress like a witch, he doesn't want his son to get like beat up or whatnot. And anyways, at the end he was all for it. He was like, okay, you know what? And then the next episode you see him doing the next season you see him doing more stuff. So I actually like that episode a lot. Dan had a cool arch. And yeah, this is the Alfalfa-nator.
Alfalfa-nator. This was the witch, yeah.
Yeah, the witchy episode. Yeah, I thought that was I kind of thought it was a touching episode, but again, especially for the early 90s, I'm sure they got, people were just upset with this video or upset. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sure they're upset with the whole show. But yeah, her as Prince.
Now it's funny, like this is actually pretty cool. If you didn't see this, that's pretty sick.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know. Like, did this show get slack back then? Like, because obviously I know I don't remember because I was too young to be kind of hanging around the internet too much. So I don't remember if it got. But yeah, this is before the internet.
Yeah. Like that is great. Like that, yeah. And you notice when it starts as like it's PG. Well, I watched this on. I don't have that Anchor Bay DVD, so I watched it on Peacock. There's a whole section where you can watch Roseanne's Halloweens, and yeah, it had a PG on there. I was like, man, that'd be right, a 17 or at least a 14 on there. Yeah, that's cool.
That's the cool Dan outfit there. So yeah, I mean that was just some of the cool like different Roseanne stuff that we had back then, and I think going upon that, like you talked about a couple episodes that you like. Is there any one that we didn't discuss that you really, enjoyed, or do we kind of touch upon all of them?
we touched. I noticed that there was a theme to them. Like it's always somebody wasn't in the Halloween spirit, so they had to like kind of get them into the Halloween spirit. But yeah, I liked them all. Like I think the first one was my favorite, and then I really liked the witch one as well.
Mm-hmm. What up, Karen? Happy Halloween to you. Booker. Oh yeah. So, and then the next one I want to touch upon is another one that I feel like is right up there with Roseanne when it came to Halloween episodes, and that was Home Improvement. I think
Absolutely.
was another one that really would knock it out of the park. And one of the ones I wanted to bring up really quick that I always, again, I haven't gone back and watched all of them recently. I watched the one with the kid Sean from Boy Meets World.
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
I watched that one where they scared him in like the little haunted house that they had.
Yeah.
But like some of the ones that always stuck in my head, and I haven't watched this in a long time, so it may not even be that great. But that one episode where Tim thought that this woman Rose was like a stalker.
Oh yes, I do remember that.
See, that?
Yeah, I wanted to watch all of them, but I was only able to watch the one you were talking about with the Sean, the first one. And I've heard that that's the best one. Is the season 2?
The episode. One with Sean is the best.
Yeah, Sean. Yeah, that's what I've heard.
That's another show where they always had great costumes, and the one that I always remember, like I don't remember how it closes, the Rose thing. I think someone else is under that mask or whatever. But like it to me, it was suspenseful. Like it was kind of like a whodunit type of episode, and she finds him in his bedroom, whatever. But I want to go back and watch it. But I mean, I always thought that was a one that I always remembered. But they had a lot of cool ones, and if you want to mention any of them, whatever, go for it, because I'm going to start pulling some pictures now to see hell yeah, dude, I have that too. Actually, I have it right over there because I was watching some of it earlier.
The whole set, man.
Great set, man. I mean, great set. They don't make them like that anymore.
No, it is on Disney Plus if you guys want to watch it, but
that's another show that it was there's a lot in there now that I don't think would go nowadays, but such a cool show. Not as like vulgar as Roseanne was, but there was still some topics in there that I don't think would fly now. But I mean, it was such a fun show. I think it's highly underrated, kind of, because people talk about it, but I mean, this was a killer show back then. I think it was one of the like top shows at that time, right?
Yeah. Yes, it was. And it's one of those things where it's like when somebody says Halloween specials, Roseanne and Home Improvement, and then The Simpsons, like those three always come to my head. And the Home Improvement and Roseanne always bring me back to when I watched it for the first time. It's like, oh man, those are so cool. And you always waited for that. And then they also did the same with Christmas episodes, which was
exactly
also cool,
Yes, definitely. I mean, these were, like I said, not only events for me, but
yeah, see that big head.
The head, yeah. It was events for like my family. Like my parents loved these shows. I loved the shows. I was dressed as Raggedy Andy.
Yeah, I know.
See if I can find Sean anywhere. But I'm gonna see if I can find that Rose character too.
Yeah. And they always did that. It was another thing where they always did like the pumpkins too. Like they did the pumpkin of like Wilson.
Yeah.
And then same with Roseanne. They had like the cool pumpkins carvings as well. Oh yeah, the Bob Vila.
Yeah. Then they always did some cool stuff with Wilson where his face would be covered. It was always like kind of crafty.
Yeah. That's what I feel like Wilson played. Oh, there he is, Sean. I feel like Wilson played the Rose girl for some reason.
He could have. Actually hits right here. It's hard to see, but like, that was the one. This
I totally forgot about that episode. That's a good episode.
Let me see. You know what else with Home Improvement was really cool? Like, remember like when they always had good bedrooms in that one. They had like a sick bedroom, and then they put that one kid in the basement, and that was a sick bedroom too.
Yeah, and Tim would always hit his head on the pipe when he walked down.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I remember they had the coolest beds. I was like, man, I want beds like that. It was like different layers of beds, like
Yeah, it was almost like it was up on like a stage or something.
Yeah, it was so cool. But yeah, Tim always hitting his head cracked me up, man.
Yeah, man, this is another show that if I just had like unlimited time, I'd love to go back and just watch this from beginning to end. I mean, I can chip away at it, but it's such a cool show.
And then Mark dressing up as Tim in the first episode, or in the first Halloween special. And then I remember him he does Al later. He dresses up as Al later.
Let me see if I can find any other good pictures in here. Because they always had really cool costumes, but it's been a long time since I've gone back and checked it out. But
and again, it was one of those things where it's just like Roseanne, where you expected it every year and they kept upping the ante.
Now, then obviously The Simpsons. Now, the problem with The Simpsons that for me is, man, because of the age I was, like, is that show still going?
It is still on. Yes.
I don't even like who is watching this on a regular?
I still watch it, man. I still watch it. I've watched every episode. I'm behind actually a season, but it's on my DVR. But man,
are you kidding me? How could you have, dude? It's got to have been
30 years. It came out 89. Or so over 30 years. So 89, a Christmas episode was the first episode.
I can remember watching that Christmas episode with my friend Randy, like, and being introduced to these characters for the first time. And then it went through that big peak of, like, you know, everybody had Bart Simpson t-shirts, Don't Have a Cowman, Bartman. I had the album, which I still is like a fantastic album.
That's awesome, man.
You know that album?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. But man, I'll tell you what, 7:00 Sunday nights on Fox, you know where my family was. We were watching that show every Sunday.
Now, is that what time it's at now?
Still, yes.
Are you kidding me?
7:00 Sunday night on Fox.
That is wild, dude.
And it, you know, like, so I still like it, and I know people are like, oh, it just isn't the same. I think it just isn't the same because they've done it so much, or, you know, it's been on so long. And man, like, these actors are taking all these pay cuts just to keep on doing it. So you know that they love doing it. So
right. I mean, I'm more or less shocked. Not that it's not as good. I'm more or less shocked that it's been able to keep that audience for that long, for it not to go, like, be like, it's not worth it anymore.
I honestly feel like I'm the only one that still watches it, but
it's just Cody keeping it going.
But obviously,
like, we can't stop this one guy.
And now that I have a YouTube channel, they can't stop. I'll call them out.
But I have this.
Is that from you? Is that an Anchor Bay as well?
This one, no. This is a Fox. It's basically a Treehouse of Horrors. But again,
there's like 6 on there.
It's only going to like 7.
And they have 35 of them. So
that's what I was going to talk about, is that, like, I'm so behind that I'm thinking, you know, Treehouse of Horror is like, oh man, like this was my jam. But dude, I've only seen like a quarter of them, and I still don't remember all of them.
Yeah, man, they have some wild ones now. So the Treehouse of Horror is my favorite episodes from them, but it's not. They're not as cool as they used to be. Like back in the day, they used to, like, you know, it used to be like the Shining reference. Is that I know that they did like some kind of anime one recently, and I guess it did really well, but I have not seen that one yet. But yeah,
that's pretty.
Yeah, I know. So my favorite episode is, I wrote it down here. It's Treehouse of Horror number 3, Clown Without Pity. And that's when Bart gets,
kind of, right?
Yeah, exactly. Bart gets that doll, and it's trying to kill him. And all he has to do is like flip the switch at the end from evil to good. But it's pretty crazy. Like Homer is like in the shower, or he's in the bathtub, and he's the Krusty the Clown is trying to kill him. It's really cool, man. I really like The Simpsons, and you can't talk Halloween episodes without talking Treehouse of Horror, because they are still going strong, man.
Especially as a kid, man. As a young kid, like, these were gateways, for sure for me. But it's just wild to see how far it's come, and like we talked about when we did this, unlocking memories. I mean, to me, just looking at these pictures right now, like, you know how bad I want to go back and just rewatch all of these, and then check out the ones I haven't seen, because it just brings back so many memories of, like you said, a Sunday night, so excited for the Treehouse of Horrors. And I think even still, it was such a popular thing. And don't, correct me if I'm wrong, if you remember, and I always liked this one, The Raven. I don't know. It was like one of the first. It
was early on. Another one I like too is when Bart has the evil twin upstairs.
I don't know if I remember that.
Yeah, he had like an evil twin, like Boris or something, who lived up in the attic, and they ended up switching him out because they found out that the Bart that was downstairs was the evil twin. So they ended up throwing him up up in the attic, which it's a good episode. It was later on, like I think like season 10 or something.
Like, look at this one. I don't know if this is Gremlins, but it's a Treehouse of Horror 21.
Yeah,
That
that's
looks
crazy.
funny, dude.
Uh-huh.
It's so cool, man. It really is just cool that they're still doing it. And like I said, correct me if I'm wrong when it comes to me remembering that I feel even it was so popular that even it would show up on Halloween night no matter what night Halloween was. Now, is that really the case, or was I just remembering it maybe on like I can remember Halloween coming back and eating candy and watching Treehouse of Horrors. Now, maybe that fell on a Sunday, or maybe they just put it on Halloween night every year.
So I think they might just show it on Halloween, but usually the new episodes show like in like November for some reason. It's always after the when the World Series is over, they show it. So it's like from what I can remember, like the last at least 20 years, it's been on in November, which is weird, but you still look for it.
Mm-hmm. Christian says he's waiting for the final Simpsons complete collection set when the show ends.
Dude, I'm going. I'll buy it. $1,000. I know. That's what I'm thinking.
$1,000 box set. Like,
I know.
It's insane that this show is still running, and the fact that they can keep pumping out ideas, good, bad, it doesn't matter. Like, like when Family Guy said Simpsons did it, like they've done everything. You know what I mean? Like at this point, and it's once a week still, pretty much, and they have like a little off season or whatever.
Yeah, it's still once a week, still going on, and it's like, dude, like there was a recent episode where there's probably 5 years ago, but the Simpsons did a crossover with Family Guy, and it was one of the best episodes they've had, and that was recent, So
really,
there's still, it's a great episode. It's like an hour-long episode, but
now Family Guy, is that done or is that
that's still going on?
Really?
Oh, yeah, Family.
I had no idea.
That's on like probably season 20.
Wow, yeah, I haven't watched that in a long time. But Bog Zombie says the Treehouse of Horrors actually is next Sunday.
Oh, next Sunday. See, in November, yeah, it's always for some reason. I think beforehand, when I was looking at the Roseanne and stuff, like those were premiering on Halloween night. Now you would never premiere something on Halloween night because no one's gonna watch it. Where back in the day, it was like scheduled stuff. Like you would go home to watch this, because you didn't want to miss out on that water cooler talk or that talk on the playground kind of thing,
It was definitely talk at the lockers or at your homeroom or whatever. But that's cool. Thanksgiving of Horror.
Yes, I think they started that. Yeah.
Wow. There you go, dude. Hell yeah. Well, don't put everybody to sleep now.
I know,
really. Guys, if you're just popping in, definitely hit that like button. We've only gone through just like a couple right now. So, I mean, we kind of lumped a lot of sitcoms into one, and then we'll get into more of the specials. But those are the big three: Simpsons, Home Improvement, Roseanne. For me, is that the big three when it comes to Halloween specials. Now, like I said before, he might have some sitcom ones that he's like, oh man, these were the ones. And maybe I'll remember them, but maybe not. So if there's any other sitcoms that you just really felt were really strong when it came to Halloween episodes, or even specific episodes you wanted to bring up when it comes to sitcoms, bring it up. Let's talk about it. And I'll pull some pictures as well.
Yeah, there's one I do want to mention. It's going to be Fresh Prince of Bel Air. And it's
which one?
It's called Hex and the Single Guy from 1993, but it's shortly after what's her name's boyfriend fiance dies.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Dude.
And they go see.
Yeah. Did they have to go get Did they go to somebody?
A psychic.
I do remember that.
Yes, and what's his name? Carlton's dressed like Macaulay Culkin, his idol. Yeah, and he's like, oh.
Yeah, right here, dude, I do remember that episode.
Dude, I laughed so hard.
He looked like he was like Wesley Snipes or something, right?
Yeah.
And then he says Macaulay Culkin. Yeah,
that's so great. So funny. Oh, and it has what's his name in it from Beetlejuice. That's
yeah. Oh, that's so funny, dude. So see, I do remember this, but I didn't remember it until you just brought it up. I can remember Macaulay Culkin. Yes, dude, that is so funny.
Yeah, and I remember they also had an episode too where it's it was a first person that was going around killing them, shooting them with a dart. Do you remember that episode?
Oh, dude, I do remember that.
And like, I don't know if it was a Halloween episode or not, but yeah, they had to kind of figure out who was doing it. And I think it was the mom all along.
It was
She was
almost like
shooting
kind of like
darts.
a Clue episode, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can find that. Fresh Prince. It was like
Clue
a whodunit
episode.
type of
Yeah,
thing.
whodunit. Yeah. It was just like a random thing that didn't follow like the storyline or anything. It was just kind of a fun episode. Maybe like a Friday the 13th episode or whatnot.
Oh, and going back to Roseanne, the name of the episode was called Halloween, the final chapter, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And then I noticed for a while there was like a Halloween 4 and a Halloween 5. You know, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
You see, I remember it, but I don't. Dude, I love this episode where they brought Belle Biv DeVoe in. Remember, and they kept doing the video.
Yeah.
Yo, you're in my video.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that was so good.
Yeah. Well, and do you remember there was a Boyz II Men was on like a Christmas episode. Do you remember that where they come and sing?
Didn't
at
they
the
go in the
church?
studio with them or something?
Yeah, or something like that. I can't remember, but yeah, there was a cool Halloween episode, and I can't remember. I think it was either this or Hanging with Mr. Cooper, where they have where they're pretending to be Boyz II Men and they're singing Motown Philly, and the lights turn out and it's not them, but they kind of pull like a Goofy movie situation.
It might have been this one, maybe.
Yeah.
But this is when I think they were in the studio and they went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Twas the night before. Yeah. And they're up at the cabin. And then they get robbed, I think. Or they get robbed up there. So something like that. But yeah, man. Again, another like they did great Halloween and then they went over, they had to compete and do the Christmas, which you know,
you're bringing up some good stuff here. I mean, again, now I look at this and I'm like, man, I want to start watching Fresh Prince again.
I know.
So many good shows back then, man. What about a part of me feels like Family Matters did pretty well when it came to Halloween stuff. Now, do you have anything of that?
Yeah, that's on my list too. From 1996, Stevel.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
With the ventriloquist. Steve.
Yeah, like that wooden doll, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, look at that.
Yeah. Dude, that was scary. Yeah. And as a kid who loved Child's Play, this was my jam. And then the next year they do Stevel 2, and there's a Carl one as well, and they're trying to take over their soul. Yeah, it's great. That's scary, man.
Dude, look at that. Dude. What?
Isn't that scary? That's awesome.
Wicked scary. Look at that. Wow. I love all this kind of stuff, man. Like, that's so wild.
Yeah.
Like, they just don't do this stuff like this anymore.
They don't, man. They just kind of like skim over it. Well, and like now most shows don't get 24 episodes. Now they get like 12, if that, you know.
Dude, that's the picture right there.
That's some scary stuff, man.
See, like, dude, this is why I like doing these shows. Like, these were unlocked. I remember them now, but at the time when I was thinking of my list, they didn't even cross my mind. I mean, at all.
Now I want a Stevel doll, man.
Oh my god!
Look at that. He's like strangling him.
Try to do it, dude. Look at that. Wow, so cool, man. It's like you got to get a Stevel doll, a little Penny. You got to get all the dolls there.
Dude, there my sister has like 3 little pennies. I'm going to see if she can find them someday.
Hell yeah, man. You got to say, at least give me one.
I know. She has like they're wearing different colored jerseys.
That is so funny. So she was a big Penny Hardaway fan?
Oh, a big Penny Hardaway fan, yeah. The NBA was huge in my house in the 90s. We were a big Bulls fan.
Nice. I was a big well, of course, I was a big Orlando Magic fan. That's how I knew.
Yeah, Penny Hardaway. Yeah. Oh, yeah. My sister loved Penny Hardaway.
Big Shaq fan back then. I was just like around my time, and
oh yeah, having an album. He was all over the place, man.
Oh yeah, man, for sure. Let me see. Yeah, somebody says it kind of like Bobby says it kind of looks like Slappy
from Goosebumps. Yeah.
Man, like, had a call puppet called Carlsbad. Oh, that's
yeah. Well, and the thing about it is, like, if they did that now, they would have to be so like dumbed down, or like the doll would not look that scary anymore at all.
So cool, man. That's amazing. I'm actually now I need to buy Family Matters because I definitely want to go back and check that out. And it's like people could easily just say, "Oh yeah, like just watch it online." It's not the same, you know.
It's not.
popping
It's
it in,
not.
whatever. Do you know if Family Matters is on streaming anywhere?
It is. It's on because when we did the it's on HBO Max, I believe. Because when
Okay.
we did the
TGIF.
TGIF one, I went back and watched the first 6 episodes to see how it was without Steve Urkel. But
Now, any other ones that you can think of sitcom wise that you wanted to bring up before we move on to other specials?
yeah, man, Boy Meets World had a really cool one. It was called in 1998. So this is probably you probably weren't watching it at this time because you were
I
probably
definitely wasn't. Yeah.
yeah. So there was a cool episode called Then There Was Sean, and Jennifer Love Hewitt's in it, and her name's Jennifer Love Pfeffer, and it's like it's pretty cool. It plays on all the slasher tropes. So like there's like a mass killer going around. So it's based off of I Know You Did Last Summer and Scream.
Oh, because that was really big then for sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's
cool. Yeah. And they show there, but Sean is the killer because he wants his friends to get back together.
Sean had the perfect, late '90s Scream haircuts.
Yeah. Ryder Strong.
Love it.
But
we had a lot of Ryder Strong talk today already.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he was showing up all over the place, man. Yeah, I saw that he wanted to quit the show early on because he just couldn't handle the fame. People wanted him to be Sean in real life, and he was not Sean in real life. Yeah, so that's pretty. Yeah, dude, and then there's another episode where it's a later episode where Corey is like he's dreaming that he's killing all his friends, like throwing them down like a elevator chute.
Really?
Yeah.
Like this?
I don't know about this one.
Boy Meets World made a better slasher than most. Wow.
Yeah. When I was looking up this thing, I was like, people are saying this is probably one of the best episodes from Boy Meets World and of like sitcoms.
Dude, I don't even think I've ever seen this.
Yeah, and like I said, it's Jennifer Love Hewitt's in it, so she was dating the older brother at the time, Eric.
I didn't even know that she was on the show.
Yeah, I think she's only on this episode, but she was dating him in real life, so he just kind of popped in. Dude,
that's cool. Comic book.
Yeah, also you know how good it is when they have art for it,
Right, for sure. That's pretty cool, man. See, that's a costume that people should do right now.
Mm-hmm. Only the real ones would know.
Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Nice pick, man. Nice pick on that one.
Yeah.
That totally got me for sure.
Dude, and then I know that there is some Married with Children, and I didn't go back and watch any of them, but there's an episode I remember where they're like at a hotel in Florida or a motel in Florida, and there's like a killer after
dude, I remember that.
Do you remember that? There's like a serial killer on the loose. I haven't seen it in years, and it was one I wanted to watch, but man, I got caught up watching all the Roseannes.
I do remember that, actually. I'm trying to think if it was a Halloween episode or not.
I don't think it was, but it was kind of weird. Like I remember it was a 2-part episode, and it's like when they went on a vacation in Florida. I don't know I think it was either a season finale or an opening, a season premiere, I should say.
I almost feel like, was they like under a bridge or was it this?
Yes, because they're in a hotel. Or they're in a motel room or something. So that's what it looks like. What's it called? Poppy or Poppy by the Tree, part 1. Yeah. I remember it being 2 parts. Yeah. This is a show that's not really on TV. No, but I'm sure there's all kinds of problems with it.
Oh yeah. Sure.
Well, even when it came out, man, people were
I don't know if we've talked about it before, but for some reason my mom wouldn't let us watch this show, but we could watch Roseanne, no problem. But for some reason, she was so against us watching this show.
Man, I remember maybe 5 years ago, me and my friends started watching season 1, and the whole time, I was just my jaw was on the ground. I was I was like, oh my gosh, they said that on TV, oh my god, I mean, to me it was so funny, but I was like, man, if this was redone today, it would be so watered down.
Oh yeah, I mean, it would actually be interesting to go back just to see how bad it was for the time,
It's dude, yeah, you're gonna be like, oh my god, like man, like women and men were not treated equal on that show, man. And the jokes they had, I was like, whew.
Let me see. Ben, I know Cody's a big fan of Martin. Martin had a couple.
Oh yeah, episodes. I love Martin.
And Halloween X-Files, I don't remember it per se, but
it's probably amazing. I also saw that Goosebumps had a really cool Halloween episode with like this girl who was wearing a mask, and the mask kind of like gets stuck on her face, and it was kind of like she kind of looked like it was like she was like a wooden mask. It looked pretty cool.
What was that from?
Goosebumps. It was Goosebumps and something with a mask, and it kind of looked like you. I don't know if you remember those. Dang it! They were like battery commercials in the 90s. And it was like a family that had batteries in their back.
Yeah, I do remember.
It kind of looked like that, yeah. Dude, I remember my sister was the mom for Halloween once, and everyone thought she was Chelsea Clinton, or everyone thought she was Hillary Clinton. And she was like, no, I'm the battery lady. So yeah, the battery family.
What's up, Tiana?
Tiana, how you doing?
All right, so guys, we just talked sitcoms and how cool they were when it came to Halloween episodes. And guys, we're like an hour in and we have only touched on sitcoms. So we're going to have to start flying through some of this stuff. And, we're each going to do, just some different ones that we still have on our lists. I'm going to go first and I'm going to do just an easy one. This is one that I don't think it's lesser known. I think it's actually pretty known, but it was just so effective for the time. And that is Garfield's Halloween.
That's on my list as well.
Freaking staple of mine growing up, and it's still one that I watch on a regular. I didn't watch it this year, but I watch it most years. Still, it's not a long episode, it's short, but I think it's very effective as far as it's just creepy. Like, you had the scene where they had the song where he's walking down the street, the Scaredy Cat song. You had all the different ghosts pop up, and he's looking under the sheets and whatnot. And man, the part that really got me, and I'll throw it up here, is the old man was creepy in that. I don't know if you remember. I'm going to pull it up right now. I'm sure most people have seen this one because it was one of the classics from when I was a kid. And I think they played it for many, many years. It's called Garfield's Halloween Adventure.
Yeah.
And it just had some, like, this is a pretty cool little poster.
Yeah, that'd be cool
Odie with the pumpkin.
Yeah, with the pumpkin. I feel like that's iconic. Odie with the pumpkin over his head.
Yeah. They were pirates. And then these were like the things at the end, which was funny because the animation was so different than them. And it was like these pirate ghosts, which was pretty creepy actually back then. This is that image again. That's pretty neat. And this was the scene I was talking about with they was finding all these ghosts and they were pulling the sheets up. And you got John with this, but this was the guy, dude. This used to freak me out.
Oh yeah.
they didn't see him there, and they're like, "Oh, let's warm our hands by the fire." And they turn around, and that dude's just sitting there.
Yeah.
Used to creep me out, man.
Dude, I miss Garfield. That was some good stuff, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know what else, too, dude? I never saw the movies. Remember the movies?
I saw the first one, I believe.
Any good?
I liked the first one, but I was a lot younger. But like I thought Bill Murray did a great job as Garfield.
And that was another fun fact, right? Bill Murray did the voice of Garfield, but then
he thought it was a different movie, right?
No, so Bill Murray did the Garfield voice for the live action.
Oh, and then in the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, and the Ghostbusters cartoon, Peter and Garfield were the same dude doing the voice. That's so funny, right?
Yeah, dude. You know what I learned recently that's kind of makes me mad about the Ghostbusters cartoon is that Ernie Hudson had an audition to play his part and he lost the role. He didn't get it.
Are you serious? So he wanted to actually be the voice of his own character and he didn't get it?
No. Like that's so crazy. It's like why would you not just give it to him? He was willing to play. I know, man. I feel so bad for Ernie Hudson when it comes to Ghostbusters, man.
Well, you know what? You're right, but they're kind of doing him right now.
Yes, yeah. I think he's going to be the main OG Ghostbuster in the new one.
Yeah, he is. He's going to be like the main Ghostbuster, it seems like, in the next one which is great because, again, he was the one that he was kind of like.
He's my favorite.
Right, he was the one nobody really cared for a while. Like, he was always the one, if you went to the toy store, you could find tons of Winstons, right?
Mhm.
And he was the only one, like, at conventions that I would go to because everybody
Mhm.
else were, like, big stars. And he was
Mhm.
still riding the, he'd wear his Ghostbuster suit and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
to see him now, like, as, like, the main guy on these movies is
I think
awesome.
that's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, see, that's why I don't have a like I love Ghostbusters, don't get me wrong, but I pass up the first poster all the time because he's not on it.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, man, I want Winston on it.
It's got the 3 only, sure.
Mhm.
Was there something? Well, you know which one is the Ghostbusters 2 poster is actually nicer.
Yes.
They're all on it, and it's got like a purple hue. It's a really nice poster if you ever are looking for a Ghostbusters one. The Ghostbusters 2 is really nice. But then somebody I think said on the new box set they added Winston in the first poster. I could be wrong though,
I
but
can't
I'm
remember.
pretty sure they did.
I do have the new set, and I think they're just the generic slip cover. Are you talking about the cover or the slip cover? Because I think it's just like the guy
Yeah,
going
it's the
to.
regular slip cover, but I think they said they added him in somewhere, but I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at it. It was some image that he wasn't on before, and it might not even be the original poster art. It might be another poster art that maybe he wasn't on before, but they added him in or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because his role was cut down a lot because they thought they were getting Eddie Murphy, or they wanted Eddie Murphy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that still would have been pretty cool to have Eddie Murphy, but I think Ernie Hudson did amazing. All right, man. So throw one at me. What do you got?
So I have the Adventure of so it's either two different titles. It's the Adventures of Ichabod Crane or the Legends of Sleepy Hollow from 1949. But I remember we would watch that in school before the holiday. Say Halloween was on a Monday, we'd be watching that in school. And I also feel like we'd watch it the day before Thanksgiving as well for some reason. I don't know, it's because he's eating turkey at the end, but yeah, we'd watch it the day before. You went on like fall break. You'd watch like that and
it was a Disney one. This one.
Yes.
Okay, I do. Yeah. That I do remember that one. That one was one we used to watch all the time.
It was pretty freaky too. Like when he's alone on the on the bridge.
Yeah, this was a cool movie. Like even just the imagery on that.
Mm-hmm. That's
very,
really
very cool.
Yeah, there's these little statues of their scene that I want to get.
Oh, really?
Yes, they're like Jim Shore. I don't know if you're familiar with Jim Shore statues. They're like if you go to Hallmark, they have like these little like kind of like handmade little statuettes, and they have one for that. They're a couple years old, so I don't know if they're still available. But I'm actually a big fan of the '90s Disney, so I collect Jim Shore stuff that are Disney. So like Gaston and Scar, because those are my dudes.
So good.
Yeah.
Legend of Sleepy Hollow. That's another one I should probably go back and check out because it's been a while since I've seen that. I do have that on DVD from Disney.
Yeah, I haven't seen that forever.
From back in the day, but that was a good pick because it was definitely one that was a staple, when I was really, really young. Now that had to have been an older flick, right? What do you think? When did it come out? 70s?
Is it 1949?
Oh, Jesus. I get so confused with these damn movies. Like,
well,
I don't realize that like they're 70 years old half the time. Like, Jesus, like
that's why I know when I was looking it up today, I was like, well, no way, it's from the 40s. I was like, well, yeah, 1949, man.
But think about that. It came out in 49 and it was still entertaining us in the 80s and 90s. Like, how good of a movie do you have to be like, oh, it's still winning kids over like 40 years later?
Yeah.
That is wild. This is one that I posted a clip of the other day and a lot of people had brought up. And I don't think it's well known, but I think it is if you were really a kid of the 80s. And that was Witch's Night Out, which I posted like the little intro because man, the theme song for that special was so killer. Like that Halloween witch Halloween. It was so awesome. That whole intro to that, and it was basically about like a witch that I'm trying to think how it went. She didn't think people cared about her anymore, and then she met these kids that wanted to scare adults, so she used her powers to turn them into like monsters. And the animation was like so bad. It was like a really crappy animation. Like it was almost just kind of shapes. I don't know. Did you ever see that one?
No, I've not. So when you posted it, I was like, oh, wow. So what you posted is something that looked familiar to me. It looks
It
like
was
it's
heavily
70s too.
I'm trying. Let me pull it up right now.
But
I actually have.
I could be wrong because I thought Headless Horseman was 70s as well, and that's 49. So
I have the DVD right here for it. So it has a DVD, and it's got some bonus stuff on it as well. Like I'm looking at the back. This has Casper, Halloween, Felix the Cat, Hoppity Hopper, Space Angel, Popeye, Halloween, Three Stooges, Halloween on here. But
dude, remember Heathcliff? That was
yeah.
good. That was a good cartoon
Very
too.
good.
I haven't seen that in forever.
Let's see. Witch's Night Out. So let's look. No, this. So it's this one. I'm trying to see if I can see
78?
Is that what it says? Where is it?
Yeah, 1978.
1978 TV movie. It's animated.
And they just don't make these for TV anymore. Unless I'm just missing them. Because I did
agree. I could be missing them too.
Because I did notice last year they had a new Christmas special. I was like, oh, that's cool that they're making. I didn't watch it, of course, or I didn't watch it, which that's a problem right there. Here I am wanting it, and they haven't. I don't watch it, but yeah, I don't know if they have these kind of things anymore. I think the last thing they've done, they did like a Toy Story, like Halloween episode, which was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, they did. I've seen that one.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see this thing that I'm pulling up now? Is it coming up on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, I just can't see. But yeah, you see like the different images from the show. Whatever.
Yeah. It looks familiar, but I couldn't tell you anything about it, so I'm sure I've seen it.
Let me see. Come on.
Because that image right there where they're at the door, the witch, that looks very familiar, but then again, it also looks like it could be Charlie Brown.
like that's the the characters basically.
Well, even when you watch like Bobby's World now, like the background is not it's all one color. You're like, oh wow, I never noticed that when I was a kid. But, yeah.
Look at the drawing. It's just
I know it's like
this lady's got clothes on.
I know, like naked lady.
Just naked ladies everywhere.
Man, I went and saw Monster Squad in theaters on Sunday, and after the movie, they gave us an intermission before we could meet Andrew Goer, and they showed a Betty Boop commercial or Betty Boop Halloween short, and dude, like those were so sexualized. I was like, oh my goodness, she's like bending over in like a short skirt, and you can see like her underwear. I'm like, what is this?
I was so, and we're all probably way older for Betty Boop, but like to me, I knew the character, but I really knew her from like Roger Rabbit.
Oh yeah. well, yeah, and then later on, the voice of Betty Boop is in Christmas Vacation. She's like the old grandma who's singing So now that's all I hear when I hear Betty Boop is her doing the national anthem or whatever.
That is so funny. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, so that was Witch's Night Out from 1978. It's like an animated Halloween special. If you guys haven't seen it, I'd recommend checking it out, especially just at least listen on YouTube at the intro song. It's so killer. Or go on to my Instagram. I posted it. But Cody, what do you got next for us?
So I have a show called Hey Arnold, which I kind of have a feeling you were a little old for.
I know the show, but I never really watched. I just remember he had like a football head or something.
Yeah. So there's an episode called the Haunted Train. And I actually watched that again last night. And it's about like they're bored one day. Like there really wasn't very Halloween, but I remember, or I watched it in the grandpa, like, the kids are bored. So the grandpa's like, oh, did I ever tell you about when I worked at the steel mill? And there's like the guy who went crazy and drove the train off the tracks. So they go,
was it this thing?
It's going to be called Haunted, the Haunted Train. Hey Arnold, the Haunted Train.
Let's see. Haunted. This guy.
Yeah, and that guy, he's like singing a song at the end. Yeah, for some reason, when we came up with this episode, I kept thinking of this. It's like I gotta rewatch that episode. I don't even think it's a Halloween episode, but it's like, it's a really cool episode to watch when you're like, dude, kid shows were doing spooky episodes when it wasn't even Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
That's how cool that stuff was. And there's also another episode of Hey Arnold where it was like the headless man, he was like like the headless coach driver. He was like a driver, but he was headless. I want to say he was like a taxi driver or something. Oh yeah, there it is right there. Headless something. Hey Arnold, headless cabbie.
Headless Cabby, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there he is.
I remember that being
I was going
scary.
to say, yeah, Hey Arnold's Nickelodeon, right?
Yep. Yeah. And then the grandpa was voiced by the same guy who voiced Homer Simpson. Hey, look at him, man. Man, and like the crazy grandma. Oh, you never watched the show, right?
No. I mean,
yeah.
I may have like in passing, like my brother may have watched it, and I may have like caught a couple episodes, but nothing I would remember.
Yeah, it was a good show, but it was definitely later 90s. I think it started in 97 or 96. 96, because that's when, oh no, that's Steve-O. Yeah, it was 96 when that Haunted Train was.
Steve-O.
But like you couldn't have shows that were kind of normal, like Doug. I feel like kids would find Doug so boring now because it's just a kid going through a normal day as a cartoon. You know, like
people did like that show. Like that was one I did watch.
I love Doug, yeah. But I feel like kids would be like, well, okay, he's not falling off a cliff, or you know, like there's not action. He's just going to the Honker Burger and eating stuff. I got the Beats album.
Look at that, huh?
Wow. Banging on the trash can. Patty, you're the mayonnaise for me. I need more allowance. And Killer Tofu. I don't know if you guys remember
Tofu.
Yeah.
What do you just got things all over the place? It's like
I do, yeah.
It's like, hey, look what I got over here.
I got this from
wow. Damn. You know what? I've never seen that show either.
No, Rocco's Modern Life. This was
that's Rocco.
This is Rocco, yes.
You know what? I've seen that. I've never seen SpongeBob.
Okay, I've never seen SpongeBob either.
Are you serious?
No, I've never seen it.
Wow.
No. And so when SpongeBob came out, that's when I was kind of getting out of cartoons. But man, there are people my age that watch SpongeBob and just claim it's hilarious. So I'm sure we're missing out on stuff. And I always see that meme where they're like, this was a couple years ago when Keanu Reeves turned down a role in a Marvel movie, but yet he'll take a role as a tumbleweed in the in a SpongeBob movie. So there's got to be something to that, you know.
He said, Doug, there's an episode where he couldn't watch a monster on the movie screen. He was too scared.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Doug was cool. He was just he was you. You're watching you on screen, man.
Basically, right?
Yeah.
And then like he had a crush on the girl and
Patty Mayonnaise. He had that.
Talk to her.
Yeah. He's Skeeter. Hey, you know, like hitting his nose. And Roger with this crazy cat.
This next one is one that I don't know if anybody's really seen. It was one that when I was growing up, we used to have my neighbor. They had a lot of channels that like we didn't have. So they had the Disney Channel, HBO. So there was a lot of stuff that they used to tape, and they'd have it all on like cassette tape. And then what they do is we take these tapes every year. We put the VHS tapes in, and they would just be specials going all the way through. And it was all stuff that we watched like constantly. And there was a bunch on there. And this one that was on there, we always used to think was hilarious. And it was called The Halloween That Almost Wasn't. And I'm not sure if it's anything you've ever heard of before.
I've never even heard of that. No.
It's a short movie, but basically it's about the Universal monsters, but they're played by different characters. So it's like other like famous actors playing Frankenstein, the Mummy, Dracula. There was a witch.
Sounds good.
And basically Dracula calls all the monsters to his castle and basically said that like, we're not scary anymore. And a lot of you guys are selling out and the kids don't find you afraid anymore. And, you know, we've got to do better or you're going to be fired and all this stuff. And it's all like live action. It's all actors playing them and stuff. And the witch basically, she's the one that starts Halloween. Like she has to fly over the moon. And then all of a sudden it's like, then all the monsters go out and scare the kids. And then the witch is like, well, I quit, blah, blah, blah. So they had to try to get the witch to come back so she could start Halloween because she's the one who like initiates it by flying over the moon and stuff. But it's not the greatest, but it was one of those ones that for some reason was always one that was on that tape. And we used to watch it every year. And there was like a part where Frankenstein would dance. And we used to think it was like the funniest thing as little kids. So I'm going to look it up and just see when this thing came out.
Do you own it on DVD or anything?
I don't think it has one, but I did hear you say there was live action. Yeah, so this is Dracula, whatever this actor's
Halloween
name is
Omnibus
here. So
West.
here's the cast.
Wow.
And I actually found, and what I'll do, guys, is I'm going to link it in the description and I'll pin it to the top. Is I actually found on YouTube a Halloween special playlist of all these old shows. There must be 300 Halloween specials on this playlist.
Mhm.
So I like the other night when I was laying in bed, like going to sleep, I just let it just run. So I watched a lot of, oh, what's this? I don't know if that's real, but so this was a 1979 movie.
Wow.
I don't own that DVD if it's a bootleg or not, but I don't have it.
The night that Dracula saved the world.
That was another name of them. It almost had like a second name for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like Ichabod Crane and the Sleepy Hollow.
Sure, yeah. See, like I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fun little Halloween movie, especially like I said, for a little kid. It really introduced us, more to like the Universal monsters and stuff like that. So came out in 79. So we probably watched this at a pretty young age in the 80s. And it must have just aired on a regular basis throughout, Halloween for a while. But yeah, it's a cool one. It's not long. It's probably only like 30 minutes long, maybe even less than that with no commercials. But that was always on the tape that we used to watch every year at her house. And I'm going to dive into more of those movies from that tape as we go through here today, because it was just a staple, of mine growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if anybody's commented on that. No, nobody's commented on the Halloween that almost wasn't. If anybody knows that one, let me know. And we'll continue on with the dude and see what else he's got in store for us here.
Yeah, so I have Tiny Toons Night of Ghoulers or Ghouliers? Night Ghouliers?
Tiny Toons.
Yeah, did you ever watch Tiny? Yeah, Tiny Toons.
I did. You know what I didn't? You know what though? I watched Tiny Toons, but I wasn't really watching Animaniacs. I know that was kind of a little bit later.
Yeah, see,
Tiny Toons I was definitely watching.
I was a huge Animaniacs fan, and I thought it was so cool that like Steven Spielberg would show up all the time on Tiny Toons or on Animaniacs.
Did it? Now, what was the episode called? Ghoulies or something?
It was called Tiny Toons Night of the Ghoulers or Ghouliers. You could probably
not Night Ghoulery, right?
Ghoulery, yes, that Night Ghoulery.
Okay.
Sorry, I can't even read my own writing. I was like, an S.
Do you remember like?
Yeah, so they had they kind of hosted it, and they did like different. It was kind of like a Treehouse of Horror, where they kind of like they did like a Twilight Zone episode, and then I feel like the Tall Tale Heart. There's like an episode of that or a segment of that, which was pretty cool.
This is a pretty cool show. I remember it used to be on like 4:30 or something in the afternoon. It was kind of like one of those after school shows.
Yeah, man. I miss being babysat by the Tiny Toons, man. An Eek Extravaganza. Do you remember that?
Oh, Eek, dude. Eek the cat? Is
yeah,
that
Eek the cat. Yeah, Eek Extravaganza. Yeah. So whenever somebody says Eek, the first thing that comes out of my mouth is Extravaganza.
Now, do you know if does Tiny Toons have like a physical media release, like of the seasons or anything?
I want to say that you know what? I don't know, because now that I think about it, everywhere I go, I see Animaniacs. So no, Animaniacs has it. I feel like Animaniacs would be a show that you would like.
Yeah,
just because there's a lot of.
I remember it. I remember like my brother used to watch it. So like I remember that's where those other two things came from, right? What was the two, like, were they mice or something? Like what was
Pinky and the Brain?
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Pinky and the Brain. What were they? What animals were they?
They're mice. They were like they're like test mice or something.
Yeah, okay. I remember those guys too. Yeah.
I remember Tiny Toons. Remember Plucky, who would eat, like when he was a baby, he would like just flush things down the toilet. He was all like,
"Oh yeah,
he's like, pot go down the hole," and he just like everything.
Oh yeah,
diaper go down the hole. And then
remember that.
And then there was I can't remember if this was Tiny Toons or Animaniacs, where it was like this dog who had to protect this little baby from getting hurt, and the dog would always get in trouble at the end of the episode. I think it was Animaniacs though, but yeah, it was like this little blonde-headed girl who she was a terror, and she would always try to, she'd always be doing something, and the dog would be like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna get blamed for this," or she's gonna hurt herself.
See, I don't remember that at all. Now I remember like the little Taz guy. Was it Dizzy Devil?
Yeah, Dizzy Devil. Yeah.
Who's this green thing?
Let me see.
He's like this guy. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but he's like in this picture, this bigger picture is this guy up on the right with like a little umbrella hat.
You're not sharing the screen, so I can't.
Oh, I'm not?
No.
Oh, geez, I'm losing my mind over here. Hold on.
Or at least I can't see it. I don't know.
No, I wasn't sharing it.
Okay.
I was just so I was just clicking random buttons. So you saw no Tiny Toon stuff pop up at all?
No.
Great. Can you see now or no?
Yes, I can. So the guy up there, he was like kind of a Marvin the Martian.
Oh, okay.
Like he was kind of like an alien. Yeah.
There it is.
Night Gouler.
So yeah, that's some cool images and stuff in here.
Mm-hmm. See, like that'd be a cool shirt or something. Like,
oh yeah, a lot of cool. Look at this one's cool.
Mm-hmm. Like I think it's cool. Like Gutter Garbs is doing all these, like like all these horror movies. But I would love to like hit these nostalgia buttons.
You got to go. I think you got to go after some of those like ones that, like for instance, I got like this Halloween Havoc shirt. These ones that they'll do like a release where they'll do it for like 24 hours so that they don't get sued or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody's coming out with a Tiny Toon shirt, they have to talk to some big
Warner Brothers. Yeah.
It might be one of those things where they'll like just throw it out really quick.
Yeah, I have a really cool Ghoul-Age shirt, and it has like all kinds of different, like it has like the old school Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt Keeper TV show. Oh, thank you. So yeah, it has all kinds of cool stuff on there.
Yeah, TJ Frizzy knew about it. Like he says, in the Halloween almost wasn't which wants to be the head of the. Okay, that's what it was. She wanted to be the leader. It's not Dracula anymore. I think that's what
okay.
But yeah, that's a pretty damn cool one. So, let me see what else I have on my list that we haven't talked about yet. This is a good one. I have the DVD here. I think this does have a Blu-ray, but I'm not part of the Disney Club, so I don't have it. Mr. Boogedy. I don't know if you ever remember this movie.
I've never seen that.
Mr. Boogedy and Mr. Boogedy, Bride of Boogedy is like a sequel. I didn't grow up with that one. I grew up with the first one. And it's a full-length movie, actually. That was like a Disney, I think it was like a Disney Channel exclusive. And it's basically about a couple or a family that moves into this house. I'll share the screen again.
Live action?
It's live action, yep. And they move into this house and they made a deal with the devil, and like this guy comes out and he's the Boogedy Man, and he looks and he reminds me of like the Emperor from from Star Wars, and he shoots electricity out of his hands and stuff like that. And we go boogity boogity boo.
That's crazy.
It's a cool movie. It's really hokey, but let me pull it up. I remember it was really heavily marketed when I was a kid, on TV. Look at this guy.
Dude, that's kind of freaky for Disney.
Oh yeah, the Boogedy Man. He would shoot these things out at the family, and then they suck him up at the end. I think with like look who
so he's a bad guy.
Yeah,
he's not. It's not like Under Wraps where they're trying to solve mysteries together. Okay,
he's trying to scare them out.
Wow.
So they move into this house.
Is he funny or is he scary?
I think he's a little bit of both. I haven't watched it in quite a while, but it's it's got like some hokey moments like this when they get zapped with the lightning. But I think it does have a Blu-ray from if you're part of the Disney Club.
That's cool.
But yeah, this is definitely one I would check out. I think you can probably watch it. Like I said, I'm going to post a link to that playlist that's got all the different Halloween specials on it, because I'm pretty sure you can watch this on there as well.
Man, when it comes to live action Halloween specials, there's not many that are like made between like the last 30 years. I feel like the Halloween specials that were live action, they left those to the sitcoms,
Well, I don't know if this is on your list, but Under Wraps was another cool one.
It's not on my list, but I do like Under Wraps. I have an Under Wraps t-shirt coming in from
you really? Look at him.
Yeah. Dude, and I think they remade it like a couple years ago, and I'm sure it's not. I think the guy who plays him is the guy from Coach. Do you remember?
Is it Under Wraps 2?
I think it's just a remake.
The guy from Coach that just passed away?
What? No,
no, that's not Coach. That wasn't Coach. I know who you're talking about. No, I'm thinking of the other damn show there.
Yeah, it's like the tall guy with the hair.
Yeah. Remember when they look at that?
Dude, that's so under wraps. I haven't seen that in forever.
They take his wrap and they like pull it like so far, remember? And he was like getting unraveled or whatever. Oh, that's cool.
That again, man. I'm sure that in the sequel or the one that they just had, he doesn't even look nearly like that because that's probably too scary for kids now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So Boogedy's only DVD. Okay, cool. Okay. So I have it then. That's cool. Yeah.
That's cool.
People remember this one. Let me see. Wearing the shirts of the generation. Oh yeah, I actually sat. There was a girl who used to come to my, and I'm assuming it was a joke, but like I wasn't sure if she got it or not. So this girl came into my gym and was working out, and she was like in high school, and she had a shirt that said Nirvana, but it had like the pictures of like the Hanson kids on it. And I'm thinking in my head, like, I get the joke, but does she get the joke? Like, did she find this at like a thrift store or something? Like, it's just because it's like it's one of those things where it's like not only am I not sure if she knows who Nirvana is, but I'm not sure she knows who Hanson is either. So I mean, maybe she got the joke, but like a part of me was kind of like, I don't even know if she gets this joke here.
Dude, that's so funny. I was in Spencer's Spirit. I went for the first time this weekend, and I saw this girl. All I saw was her Space Jam shirt. I was, oh, that's a cool Space Jam shirt. And she looked at me where I looked at her. I was like, oh my gosh, she's really young. Hopefully she doesn't think I'm some creep. So anyways, I walked away and I looked at her shirt again while and I was like, oh, it's the Space Jam logo, but it says something else. So she's probably like, what Space Jam? I was, oh, I like your Space Jam shirt. And she's like, okay, weird guy.
Like, well, you know what? Speaking of 90s, you know what shirt you've got to try to acquire? And I mean, I would love to get it too. Is that classic one everybody had where it was like Bugs and Wile E. Coyote and like the ghetto clothes.
Oh yeah, they're all like sitting there.
I feel like everybody had that shirt when I was like in middle school, whatever.
Yeah, it's like they have like the baggy jeans on. Yes, I remember that. The sunglasses. So man, yeah, those were popular.
You know, it was another shirt that when I was a little kid, kids used to wear. I didn't have it, but it was like it was Kermit the Frog in like a black and white, and it had like Calvin Klein underwear on.
Yeah,
and he was like
the Calvin Klein ad. Yeah,
but it was like Kermit.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh,
who was wearing those? So funny.
Probably us.
Yeah, I never had that one. Thank God.
Dude, I feel like I had the Looney Tunes one though. With them with the backwards hat. Yeah.
I guarantee there's a company that still got that out.
Oh, I'm sure.
I such a big shirt.
Even like something like Red Bubble
has it. I guarantee they probably do.
Yeah, that's funny.
All right, man. What do you got? Anything? What else do you got for us,
dude? I went through my list, my 10.
You went through it already?
Yeah, I was listening. Ooh. Yeah, I went through.
Let me see what else I have on here.
I do have. I don't know if you're going to mention it or not, but you talked about it in your cereal commercial, in your cereal live stream.
Yeah, talk about it. It's on my list.
Which is which?
Yeah. Did you end up checking it out?
So I've never heard of this until I was watching your cereal live stream, and you said it, and then like your brother, and your sister-in-law knew exactly what it was. And you guys were quoting it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna look it up. I found it on YouTube and I watched it, dude. As soon as it starts, like a nostalgia pinch.
Weird, right?
Yeah, it's like I've never seen this, but yet it's like it's taking me back to the 80s. Like it was like it's really good. I liked it, and this is coming from a 35-year-old man who's watching it for the first time.
Yeah, that's actually on my list too. And I'm glad you actually watched it, and it's on. Like I said, it's going to be on that list of movies I'm going to post on here. But yeah, it was strange because it doesn't really make sense why it's called which is which. Like it doesn't really have to do much with witches, I guess. I don't know.
So I think what it is, they're playing off of the which one is who, which one's the real, because like the robbers are dressed up as those kid animals, and then they switch because they put on, so which one is the good one. And I think which is which is just a saying, because when I looked up which is which,
well, yeah, like look at all
it came up with it came up with other things. So I think it's just a title that is known for something, and this is just the one that you've seen, or this is the one that they've made. Because
right. Buttons and Rusty.
Yeah, Buttons and Rusty. And then they put on the mask, and they say, "Oh, it looks like a fox," but it was like a A witch.
It was like
yeah.
Let me see.
Dude, it was funny too, because like I mean, obviously I'm going up so I can catch on to it, but like it was very educational. They're like, see, that's why we can't have wild animals with kids. Because, you know,
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, that's true. That's true. So I was learning stuff. I was like, oh yeah, sure.
It's like it was like so it's like about a camp and there's like a witch in it here. So it's about a camp and they're having like a Halloween party and then there's these animals that live in the wilderness. Obviously, it's a bear and a fox with their families, and then they're kind of causing trouble. And the two bear and fox, those little guys there, they get in some trouble. And then there's like this criminals that are looking to rob the camp or something.
Yeah, because everybody's going to the party, so
everybody's going to the party, so they're going to rob the camp. But then like the criminals' outfit is like a bear suit, so. The parents are looking for their kids, but they're chasing this guy, and this is like the robber in the bear suit, and they think it's their. It's weird, but like it's one of those shows that it must have just been on so much when I was a kid around Halloween. It was part of like what was on like regular TV around this time for years because it's been so long since I've seen it, my brother as well. And as soon as we put it on, we could like recite it. Like we must have seen it so many times. And it has a real cool vibe to it. Like you said, it brings you back to like being a little kid in the 80s. And it's a real cool little short and made for TV type movie with these characters that I've never seen elsewhere. So, but it says like stuff right here, Buttons and Rusty and like they must have had other specials, but
yeah, because I was just thinking, I was like, man, they could have made like a Christmas one, but it looks like they might have those. Like they might have a Thanksgiving one in the machine. So it might have been like a little series, but just didn't catch on.
Sure, because I mean I don't know them from anything else, besides that. For sure. But yeah, that was a good pick. That's on my list too. And it was probably the next one I was going to talk about. But yeah, which is which? Buttons and Rusty. See if anybody remembers any of this. No one's really talked about it. Yeah. TJ says, maybe you know this one. 2000, there was a weird Nickelodeon movie called Cry Baby Lane. Too Scary for Nick when they didn't show it again in 2011.
Wow. I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either, but let me try to pull it and see if
Cry Baby Lane.
I mean, I would love to get it.
Especially if they didn't show it for that long.
Sure. Can you see this or no?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Okay. What was it called again?
Crybaby Lane.
Let's see.
Have you watched any of the new oh dang.
Are you gonna ask me, are you afraid of the darks?
Are you afraid of the darks? Have you watched any of the new
have
ones?
not. Now, is it just movies or is there a show out again?
See, I was gonna ask you the same thing. I feel like they're movies, but I haven't seen them. They look
Taker, dude.
The Undertaker.
I gotta get this movie.
That's funny.
An Undertaker poster. I'm definitely buying. No, I don't know. I actually saw at I was at somewhere, maybe it was Walmart, and they had a box set of like 3 Are You Afraid of the Dark movies in it, and they were all new. So I was like thinking about getting it, but I'm like, are they movies? Are these the only 3 they've done? Are they going to come out with a box set? I'm not sure. What the deal is with the new stuff.
Yeah, I think they're just movies. And I haven't seen them. They kind of remind me of like the way they do like scary stuff now is like the newer version of Ghostbusters, like the 2016 version. Mm-hmm. Like how they're kind of like a Haunted Mansion kind of thing.
Yeah. That's how these zones are kind of.
That's what it looks like to me. I haven't seen them, but I just feel like kids are never put in real danger. So. And then again, they're not made for me. Like,
sure,
but they're just not. I feel like kids watch the stuff I watched when I was a kid. They'd freak out. They'd be like, "What is this?"
Yeah, and even look, I just found this Boogity Man. It says 10 Forgotten Childhood Specials from Bloody Disgusting. So that's pretty cool. Crybaby Lane. I've never even heard of that. So I'm definitely going to try to see if it's either on YouTube or whatever. But
yeah, it says Lost Nick movie, so I'm sure it's not.
That's interesting. Look at this, dude. I liked Camp Candy. I don't remember the scare package. It's on YouTube to watch. All right, cool. I mean, it like I said, it might actually be on that playlist that I've been watching because there's 300 short specials on there, and I haven't got all the way down to them.
I love
Um,
Camp Candy
that was really, really cool.
and Life with Louie. I remember those were like, I felt like it was like almost the same thing.
Boba Fett's. What's up, man? Yeah, I do. Actually, that's on my list too. The Worst Witch. Dude, have you ever seen that at all? All
No.
right. You are gonna love this one. So basically it's like a full-length movie, and it's with what's her name there? Veruca Valt. What's the chick's name from The Craft?
Oh, okay. I don't know her name, but I know who's from The Waterboy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I always get her name wrong. Veruca
Farouk.
Farouk is the man. Worst Witch is a real cool movie from the I believe it was 80s. Now it's got a DVD. It's kind of harder to find. Actually, it's $16.98 in stock. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like it's something I've passed at Walmart every year.
it could be. I mean, it's got Tim Curry in it. Oh, Fairuza Balk is how you say the name.
So this is when she was young.
Very young. Now, this was something that used to be, like I said, those tapes that I would watch back in the day. My neighbors had it. Had this on it. It had Which Witch is Which. It had this other one called like The Pumpkin That Couldn't Smile or something. It was about a pumpkin that used to cry like pumpkin seeds.
Oh, that looks familiar. That sounds familiar.
That one. And this was one that was always on there. And it's a real cool movie. If you wanted to just check out, if you search on YouTube, Tim Curry's song in it, it's so freaking good, man. Like he always just kills it.
Dang.
It's one of those. It's a real cool movie. And I wish it got more love for sure, but it's really good. 80s kind of Halloween movie.
Dang.
And I'm trying to think, there's any other one that I wanted to bring up, and this was another one that was like a main staple of those tapes I used to watch every year. And it was Disney's Halloween Treat, it was called. This was the logo for it, 1982. And it was basically what it was they kind of created a movie just utilizing all different Disney Halloween-based episodes. So they would show this episode in it. Then they'd have different songs too, and they would just show different clips from movies. So like you had that one with that witch, you had this. I'm trying to think. There was the Dancing Skeletons were on it. You had, let me see. You had Headless Horseman had a scene in it. So it was hosted by the man in the mirror, the face or whatever. It was hosted by him, and it was a cool one. I highly recommend it if you're a fan of Disney. They showed this clip from that, but it was just basically all scary clips from their movies, and they all just were in kind of one, almost like a highlight reel kind of thing. But it was just based around Halloween. It was really cool, and that was one that was definitely on my list for sure. So Disney Halloween Treat, which again could be one of those ones that's on that playlist that I'm going to post, but. Man, it was such a cool one if you guys haven't checked it out before.
Yeah. There's one like, I don't know if you watched this, but I watched it when I was a kid because I had a big crush on Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen when I was a kid. But they had double toys.
Toil and Trouble.
Toils in Trouble, yeah. I could not tell you anything that happens in that movie, but I remember watching it all the time. Like that and To Grandmother's House We Go and How the West Was Fun. Like, I just remember they had those movies that I would watch all the time, but I couldn't tell you anything about them.
It was just cool back then that they were just doing these little things, these little specials and stuff just to kind of keep kids entertained. And they were kind of one-offs too. Like I have another one on here called The Trouble with Miss Switch. And it was basically it's a cartoon and it's about a teacher that's a witch. And like these kids will like causing trouble and like she would like just move her glasses and like, a kid was about to shoot a spitball and it would like come back and hit him in the head.
Oh, that's cool.
Like he'd go get a drink and like, he was like a troublemaker and she'd like twinkle her nose or whatever, or scrunch her nose and like the water would spray him in the face. And she ended up becoming like a good witch at the end because there was like a bad witch that was like telling her what to do. And then she became friendly with the kids. But there was some scenes where like the kids fell in a well and that's a cartoon. Like, we got to get out of this well. We're going to end up like them. And there's like just like skeletons like laying all over the place, like things like that where, nowadays you would just kind of be like, hey, I got to show you like just dead bodies of like, skeletons. But it was like these little Halloween specials that were just aired on cable, and it was like I said, The Trouble with Miss Switch was one. The Pumpkin Who Couldn't Smile was another one. I think that was like a Raggedy Ann show or something like that. I think Raggedy Ann had that one. I'm trying to think what else I have in here.
There was also like Teen Witch. Is there, or there's, so I get confused. There's like Teen Witch, and then there's a movie with like Tia and Tamara where they're like twins. They're like Twitches or something.
Is that what it's called?
Twitches. I think it's called Twitches. And then there's a Teen Witch, I believe. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I know what Teen Witch is. Oh,
Teen Witches.
I remember Miss Switch.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, that's the one you're talking about.
We just unlocked a memory for Fish right now. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, Garfield. Twitches. Yep.
Yeah,
he said Twitches.
Yeah. Twitches, yes. Twitches,
what a name, huh?
Yeah.
TGIF specials.
Uh-huh. And then, of course, Halloween Town.
You know what? That's funny because I'll say this: Uncle Bill from Dead Pit loves Halloween Town.
No, he doesn't.
He does.
Wow.
I swear to God, he does. And it's one that I don't know if I have it. I have like a double pack, or I have like 1, 2, and 3 or whatever.
There's all kinds.
But I don't. It was never one that I watched growing up, so I don't know where he became fond of this because I don't think it was ever in my rotation.
It was 90s, I think, for sure. With Debbie Reynolds.
Yeah, I don't know where he watched this unless he watches it with his kids and really likes it. I have no idea, but he always praises that all the time.
Wow.
And I have it, but I don't think I've watched it more than once. Mm-hmm. But there was other cool ones. You know, everybody loved Watcher in the Woods. That was a pretty cool one that I watched as a kid. Mm-hmm. Escape to Witch Mountain or whatever it was called was another one I watched as a kid. There was another one that people talk about all the time, and I have it on DVD from Disney, and it was like about a carnival. And I know Brian Goes Blue, if he's in here, tell me what it's called. It's a Disney movie, came out around the 80s.
Dude, Brian knows everything.
He knows everything.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think, I don't know. It's called like something The Strange and something. I don't remember, but if someone said it, I would know it. Look at this. We're taking them back, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what? There was a Ronald McDonald Halloween special?
Really? Dude, yeah. I feel like Ronald McDonald, there's a documentary there somewhere. I want to know his life. Like,
I do think there should be a documentary there somewhere. I would love to know who was that dude. Was it multiple people? Was it one guy? Like,
yeah, like what happened? Especially the guy from like like the 90s that we knew, or the 80s and 90s. Like, I do know that the first Ronald McDonald was actually Bozo the Clown, I think.
Really?
Yes, but then it's switched up. But like, I saw an interview with the guy. It was just a clip, and he was talking about how he would get like, they would just send him to McDonald's and he'd get free stuff all the time. You know, like, so I was like, man, I feel like there's a story behind this Ronald McDonald guy.
Gotta be something.
There's got to be a documentary coming.
Good or a bad story, but a story in general, right? Like,
yeah, like where is he now? Like, what does he look like without the mask? You know, like,
look at this. The Bishop of Battle coming out of nowhere and saying something wicked this way comes is exactly the movie I was talking about, the Disney one. That's a real cool one too. But you're right. I mean, and the thing with Ronald McDonald, like, he was such a mainstay character that just kind of like, I don't know, he just kind of vanished. I don't know if they were just not targeting to young kids anymore. But
so I do have a weird quick question for this Mike Wolf. Do I know you personally, Mike Wolf? Because
why is that?
Because so when I moved to Arizona, there was my neighbor was Mike Wolf, so he was like the first person I met. So I just like, and I know it's a common name, but sometimes I'm just like,
I mean, no, I don't know. I've actually never seen him in the chat before. So Mike, welcome to the chat. And everybody else who's new to the chat, thank you for popping in. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do. And anybody who's in here that's not subscribed over to Dude Who Loves Movies, Cody's channel, definitely hop over there and subscribe. He's killing it over there as well. So yeah, thank you guys for sure. He says you do not, different one.
Yeah, well, as soon as I saw your picture, because the Mike Wolf I know, he is really religious, and then you showed him Mike Myers or Michael Myers. But no, that's not him.
Not him. It's not
him
for
sure. Yeah,
he's changed completely.
Yeah.
And if if that was him, there's a documentary there.
Yeah, I know.
What happened to Mike Wolf?
Dude, Mike Wolf, he used to live across the street from me, man. He used to get in trouble at my house all the time because I'd be like, he'd be like really religious. He'd be the guy who'd come over and he'd show like, hey, I got this new Mary Kate and Ashley VHS. I was like, oh, have you seen Child's Play 3? And then he'd go home and be like, oh, talk about like, play Hide the Soul. And his mom would be like, what the heck? And then I'd be like, have you ever seen Seinfeld? And then like his mom was always over. I remember I made a cassette tape of like the Eminem show, or not the Slim Shady LP or something. And man, he got in so much trouble for listening to that.
What'd you do at Cody's? We played Hide the Soul.
Yeah. What is that? Oh, this is a guy named Chucky and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I remember a guy saying, these pretzels are making me thirsty. And his mom's like, where's that from? It's from Seinfeld. And she's like, oh, the devil, That's
wild. But it's funny because I have all this stuff around my house. We brought up Chucky and like, my son just basically grew up with this, which I have to be thankful that he doesn't come down here and is like petrified of anything. Like I have my Bride of Chucky's and right there. He just looks at him and just, does his thing. It doesn't bother him. So it's funny being out there today and all of a sudden he's like, Dad, I'm like, what? That guy's dressed as Chucky. And the kid had like a Chucky suit on. It's kind of funny that like, he knows that stuff.
Yeah, it's great. When I was at I keep calling it Spencer's. When I was at Spirit, of course I was in the Chucky aisle, but it was me and a bunch of little kids. Like I was looking at something. Whenever a kid would walk by, Chucky, like everybody just knew it was Chucky.
So funny.
And it's all like little kids and me. So,
Boba Fett's. We definitely go back and watch the replay. We did a full talk on that one.
Yeah, we talked about Steve-O Part 1 and Steve-O Part 2.
And this is a good question from Bobby. Speaking of Bobby, we didn't bring up Bobby's World, which had a friggin' awesome Halloween special called The Night of the Living Pumpkin. And
oh my gosh, that sounds so familiar.
Dude, Bobby's World. It was
Bobby's World. Okay.
Yeah. It was so good. If you guys haven't checked that one out, I would check it out. It's a real, real cool one. You know what? I mean, it's never not exciting because, I still enjoy it, but I get it because like we said earlier when we turned this thing on is that we watch horror all year round. So it's not like we save it because I know a lot of people that don't really watch horror until Halloween.
Yeah.
Right. And it's on TV. So it's a cool way to watch it if you don't own physical media.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm going to say probably maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago, I kind of got out of it a little bit. But now that I have the channel and I have like a son who's like 4 and he's kind of starting to get into this stuff, I think it's really kind of come back. But the problem is now is it's just sometimes in life, you've just got so much going on that like you can't enjoy anything really. Like I enjoy this because it's like I'm plopped here. I can't, if I wasn't doing this right now, I'd be watching a movie, but doing like 10 other things while I'm watching the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'll be like cleaning stuff up. Then I'm writing an email and then I've got my phone out and I'm responding or posting like an Instagram thing. And like, I have a tough time, like just sitting and just doing nothing. If I'm sitting around, I'm doing like 5 things at once. So even with Halloween, I feel like it's one of those things that, starting the channel and stuff and having him, it's become a little bit important again because, when I'm with him and I'm out there, I'm not doing other things. We're focused on that. When I'm doing this, it's like, I'm not all over the place, Yeah.
Well, and it's cool for you because you get to like relive all this stuff with your son now.
Mm-hmm.
You get to go trick-or-treating again. I mean, obviously you're not going up dressed up with a bag, and you get to, I'm sure Christmas morning is exciting for you again, because your son is so excited. So that's really cool. Where me, I don't have any kids. So it's like, I'm just got, just Halloween just isn't the same, especially when, I used to work in a grocery store, so I'd see all the like the decorations and stuff. But now I don't work in a public place like that to where it's like I don't see all the advertisements for the holidays and stuff like that. So, but like, but now doing like YouTube, I was finally able to like, I just acquired this original one sheet of Ernest Scared Stew, but I've been looking for it for like a year and a half, and I finally found it. But and like earlier when we talked about dressing up, and I almost contacted Garrett a couple weeks ago and be like, "Hey man, we should dress up." But I never did, just because like time is just This month was 3 days, I swear.
It really was.
I feel like October was 3 days. And I was like,
I
oh
even
my
messaged
goodness.
him earlier, and I said it was like an hour before the show, and I said, "You want to? Are you dressing up?" And he said, "No, I got nothing." And I was
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. He's like, "Do you have something?" I'm like, "Well, not really," but I said I
Yeah.
could probably whip something together if I needed to. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just crazy how time flies. But I mean, in reality, if I had more free time, like
Mhm.
things I would like to do was around this season would be to like decorate this whole backdrop Halloween, like the whole
That,
thing, like
that was
change all
on.
the posters out to like obviously it's horror, but maybe have a
Mhm.
more Halloween-esque, maybe hang some like orange lights around, maybe get some different decorations back there from like Spirit. Like
Mhm.
it's all horror, yeah, so it works. But like I think um
Make it more.
if there
Yeah.
was more time, I could just decorate. Same with Christmas. Like I would love to be able to just decorate this, and I can, but I just
Mhm.
gotta really set down a day and be like, okay,
Yeah.
not working on this day. I'm gonna get my son
Uh-huh.
somewhere else where he's not here to like running around or whatever. Then I'm like, I'm just gonna focus on
Mhm.
doing that, which is something I would like to do. But again, everything takes time, and if you don't have a lot of it, it's hard sometimes to, do that kind of stuff. So again, it's a long-winded answer for an easy question, but for me, it's coming back. It's kind of in a full swing, and I think us doing this show tonight actually helped it because,
Mhm.
like him and I said earlier, is that we've
Mhm.
been watching a lot of these specials to kind of get ready for the show, and it's like we haven't watched these since we were kids, so you kind of felt, like you were
Mhm.
younger again.
Yeah. So basically, the last couple of days is when it's actually felt like uh, Halloween this year. It's because I was watching these specials and it was giving me those feelings again. But yeah, other than that, like I said, it's just like I didn't even put up like Spirit. I used to go to all the time. This year, I went for the first time last weekend, and I haven't put up any Christmas or Halloween decorations or anything this year. It
Mhm.
was like I got back from H4, or I got back from H45, and all of a sudden I was okay. Next weekend I'll do that, and then all of a sudden it was the 20th. I'm like, well, there's okay, I'll do it today, and then all of a sudden it was the 28th. And I was like, well, there's no reason to put it up now, kind of thing.
Right. And that's what happens. And now Christmas is the next big one. So,
I
as we kind of wind this down a little bit and talking about these, hopefully we unlock some memories for you guys. Definitely let us know in the comments if there was anything we talked about that you remembered or didn't remember until we brought it up. Let us know if there's anything that we maybe didn't talk about that you would recommend. But
Mhm.
I know the next big one that we've talked about. I don't know what November is going to bring, but the next big one that we discussed is what we're going to do for Christmas, and I think it's going to be a real cool episode, and I think
Mhm.
it's going to really unlock a lot of nostalgia. I mean, we can kind of
Yeah.
run through it really quick now if you want to give them a brief rundown of what we're thinking about doing in December. I think what we're going to do for December is we're going to get some of the old school like Christmas catalogs from when we were kids,
Yeah.
and we're
Like
going to
JC
almost
Penney's.
make like mock Christmas lists. So
Yeah. Wish list. Yeah.
yeah, so we'll look through the Christmas catalogs now,
Uh,
like on live, and then we'll make our like what we would want from that list like
mhm.
currently, like right now,
Yeah.
not when
Yeah.
we were kids, but like currently, because as kids, all I cared about was the toys. Where
Mhm.
now all of a sudden you're going to go through these things and be like, holy shit, look at this stereo, dude. Like,
I know, really.
like, so I think it's going to be a pretty cool concept and a cool show that we're going to make these mock lists utilizing those old school um, catalogs from Christmas time, which was a freaking staple for me as a kid. I mean, when those things came, it was like gold. I would
Mhm.
like bring it in my room and like get my pad out
Uh-huh.
and I'd like
Yeah.
sharpen the pencil, or I'd get like
Uh-huh.
one of those pens that had like it
Mhm.
was almost like a marker slash pen. It had like that real thick ink or whatever, and I'd like
Yeah.
make all these nice lists for
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
I wanted.
Well, that's like my sister and I in these catalogs. We would circle what we wanted, and then we'd have to give it to my grandma at a certain time, and then she'd either order it or try to find it at Toys R Us or something. So
So yeah, it's gonna be cool, and especially to go back and kind of see, what was around during those times. And I don't know what year catalog he's got. He doesn't know what year catalog I have, so it'll be just kind of
mhm,
cool because there'll probably be some different stuff in there for
mhm.
sure. But definitely one that you guys should come by and hang out with us because again, we'll show some of the pictures and stuff in it too, which will be really really cool to check out and just to kind of see what was going on back then. And man, I'm sure there's probably some clothes that I would love to rock right now.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know what we're gonna find in there? It's probably gonna be the the Looney
The Looney
Tunes.
Tunes. You're like, there it is.
There it is. Yeah.
All right. So before we leave, I'm gonna answer this for Mike really quick because he's new to the chat. So I'm gonna throw this in here for him. He says, favorite Christmas horror movies. I mean, I can throw a couple out there just off the top of my head. I mean, obviously, Black Christmas is one that I like. I mean, I even like the remake of the Black Xmas one.
Hmm.
I'm a big fan of that as well. I mean, I'm a big Silent Night, Deadly Night guy. I actually like all of them, to be honest
Hmm.
with you. Even the ones that people don't really care for, which are the sequels. I like those too. I'm a huge fan of a movie called Elves, which not a lot of people ever talk about, and it's not a great movie, but it's fun as hell. That's one that I wish would get a new edition. Um, I even think the movie with Goldberg is okay.
Oh, Santa Slay, yeah.
Yes, Santa's Slay.
uh,
That one. There was one that came out last year called Christmas Bloody Christmas. I think that's what it was called.
I own it, but I haven't seen it.
It's, it had a lot of potential.
Somebody told me the dialogue bothered them. Like it was like,
oh, that dialogue, I hated it. It was just like, it was like so not raw. I could say raunchy, but like it was so much profanity that it didn't seem like these people were real.
it was
Like I'm
normal.
like, if I had a friend that talked that way every second, I'd be like, dude, I don't want to hang out with you anymore. You're freaking annoying.
I know,
Like it
it's
was
like,
brutal. Like, but the concept, there's something there that kind of worked for me, and there was a lot there that didn't work for me. I think it could have been way better with what they had.
mhm.
And at the end, they had like this animatronic Santa that like kind of was like a Terminator, which I'm like, dude, I wanted that Santa the whole time.
Oh, is that not what I thought? That's what the whole movie was about. Was this
kind of, but like what happens
Santa.
is it just seems like a regular guy until he gets like battle damage kind of thing, and then you realize that it was a machine under there.
Oh, okay.
So they utilized that kind of at the end. So there was a lot of stuff in it that I really liked, and it did a good job of like capturing, a Christmas night kind of thing.
Mhm.
Like, it was like a wet city with like the snow. It really
Yeah.
captured it, but it was one that I wish was better. But I mean, I think it's definitely worth
Mhm.
a check for sure. And I mean, if you want to throw Gremlins in there,
Mhm.
I would say that's a must for me.
Jack Frost. The first one,
Right.
the first one for me, I just can't make it through the second one. I think it's because it looks like a soap opera, like the way, like the camera, like I just don't like it, man. I can't get through Jack Frost 2.
Any other ones I didn't bring up that you can think of off the top of your head that you really enjoy?
No, you basically brought up everything. I want to see the new. I can't think of what it's called. It's like it's a new slasher with Justin Long, and it's like time travel, where like she wishes she wasn't alive anymore, and then because I guess she stopped this killer in the 80s, and then she wishes she was never born, and then so that means the killer's still alive. It looks pretty good. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a playoff, like not Silent Night, but something like I can't think of something Knives or something. Oh, P2 is a good one too, Bobby. Yeah, but yeah, I cannot think of what it is, man. Yeah, lots of 80s travel. Yeah, but I can not the yeah, the Notebook. No,
nope.
Man, I cannot think of what it's called, but it's called
Justin Long's in it.
Yes, and he's like he plays the slasher. So she stops him in the 80s, and then it's present day, and she wishes she was not alive, and so she's not alive anymore. But so the killer is still alive, and she has to try to stop this killer, and nobody believes that he's this killer. So I can't remember what it's called, but it's coming out soon. And it's like a play on words, like Silent Night or have a slice day or like something weird like that. Have a knife day, something like that. It looks good. Oh yeah, A Wonderful Knife.
Oh, I've never even heard of it. That sounds cool.
Yeah,
it's a Christmas-esque. It takes place around. That's cool. I love holiday slashers. Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's like it kind of plays off A Wonderful Life, where like she wishes she wasn't alive anymore, so they kind of look at what would happen if she wasn't alive, kind of thing. But it looks pretty good. But it's one of those movies that it's either going to be really fun or it's going to be like they could have done something way better with this.
I'm
and of
interested in it though.
Yeah,
sure.
And this is not a horror movie, but Silent or Violent Night. I love that movie.
Oh yeah, dude, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, it's fun, man. I went to go see that, like not the midnight showing, but the 7:00 showing the day before it came out, and it was just me, the person I was with, and then like a couple, and I was like, how is this not like a poppin' movie? But it seemed like people liked it. It was a pretty gory stuff, and there's a cool Home Alone scene that I thought was awesome. So.
Nice,
yeah,
man. Yeah, that's cool. Dude.
Definitely a fun one, and it has an awesome poster too. That's actually the first Instagram post I ever posted. Was I think it was December 1st or December 2nd. I posted a picture of the poster, and that's how I started off on Instagram. And then a month later,
so funny. Yeah,
I started YouTube. And it's all because of the Rad Pack really helped me out. So,
dude,
dude,
I mean, I'm glad you're here, man.
Dude, that's a year ago in November is when you had that not call-in episode, but the call-in episode where we called in and did the questions.
Well, it's actually funny you say that because we've been thinking about what we wanted to do November. We wanted to do this month for Rad Pack, and we said the other day, why don't we just do another call-in episode again?
Another Thanksgiving.
So I think we're going to probably just do that again. But again, because, there's a lot of new people that are watching the show just based on like the Rad 9s and stuff like that. We've had a lot of new people. So hopefully people want to do it. And guys who's watching in here, I have another podcast called the Rad Pack, and it's on another channel called Rad Pack Pod. And we're going to do an episode where you guys would send us video questions and we play them on the show and answer whatever you wanted to know about us, or ask us whatever. If you want to know about our favorite Christmas slashers or whatever, ask it, and then we'll play it on the show. And it's always a fun time. And Cody, a year ago, he brought in a question on the video and basically said, I'm interested in starting YouTube, and what do you guys think? And we gave him our advice, and look at him, he's here right now.
Yeah,
he's killing it.
Now I'm part of the Rad family. It's
definitely part of the Rad.
It's been a nonstop ride, and it's almost a year since I turned that in. So man, if you guys are ever looking to start a YouTube channel, I've been doing this since January, and it's been fun. I've liked it. It's a great community. I know people don't like that word. Some people don't like that word community, but it's been a nonstop ride. It's been fun. It's been really fun.
Yeah, I mean, it is a fun thing. I mean, again, what happens though is once you start getting going and you want to continue to make content, it does sometimes feel like it's a small part-time job, which is hard because, and again, it's all on how you want to do it. Like if you want to make it, as detailed that it's going to, be something that you have to put time into, or you just go on there, press play, and just go. I mean, again, it's all on what you put into and all what you want it to become. But it's super fun because again, this is most of my social life now outside of, talking to people at work and stuff. But again, it forces me to also just sit in one spot and focus on one thing, where most of the things outside work, my brain is going like 100 miles an hour, so it's good to kind of utilize this to kind of sit back. And even tonight doing the show, like, we wanted to get this in for Halloween or for October. And it was tough finding dates because you were gone for a little bit. I had other shows going on, and it was hard to find dates. So finally we're like, well, what about Halloween night?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
basically coming straight down to the wire here.
Yeah. And like, that was tough for me because I'm like, all right, Tuesdays are hard because I wake up at 3:45 and then I work all day, and then I came home and I brought my son out and then I put her to bed. So I was like, if we do it, we got to do it late. And it's just hard. Like, I'm exhausted, but at the same time, it's fun. Like, hopefully I don't act like I'm tired right now, but I may look like I'm tired. Sometimes my eyes get really red when it gets really late, but I mean, that's the thing. It's fun, and it's easy to talk to Cody and you guys. So it just, it just works.
And I was like, in my mind, I was like, I don't expect many people to be here just because it's Halloween night. It's later at night. So we appreciate you guys being here. We know that, you guys could be watching Halloween 78 right now, or, like anything else,
Yeah.
So
Roseanne.
we thank you. Roseanne. Yeah. But yeah, I have a feeling we started the Roseanne thing, especially you when you pulled it yesterday, man. I think people are like, oh, I got to go watch that, man.
Oh yeah,
and a lot of us did.
It's been heating up on Roseanne talk on Instagram. So
yeah. But don't sleep on Home Improvement. Holiday or not holiday?
No,
Halloween.
for sure.
Definitely watch those too.
But guys, again, everybody who watched live, thank you so much for joining us. Awesome chat. Sorry I couldn't get to everybody, but I knew we had a lot to talk about tonight. And then Cody, anything coming up on your channel that coming up soon that you can talk about? Something you've just posted?
So I just posted, well, not just posted in my mind, I just posted it, but about a week ago I posted the Rad 9 movies that scared us. So I have a list there, and I challenged Derek from Pure Hangout, and he made a video, and I also challenged Tracy from Nerd Squish. So
she better get on that.
Yeah. She wrote in the comments that she accepts the challenge, but I know she's been sick, so we'll see.
So yeah, and if anybody wants to do a Rad 9 movies that scared us video or Instagram post, just make sure to tag us in it. And also too, like people are messaging me like, is there a deadline? I mean, technically no. I would say if you want me to give you a little bit more pressure, then let's say, hey, let's finish off the week. And even though it's going to be November, but try to send them in by the end of the week, just because again, we want to try to share them. I'm still, backed up on watching them all, but I'm trying my best to kind of share them out. Just because again, we appreciate all your support and doing these community challenges that we're doing. And yeah, I mean, anything coming up, Cody, that you can talk about right now?
So I have to do an unboxing for my good guy doll. I still haven't unboxed it. So I have
crazy how things just get packed up because like you might want to do it and all of a sudden something else kind of come in and you're like, I got to do this now. I got to do that now.
That's exactly like it's been my next video for the past like 2 months. Okay, that's my next video. Then something comes out. Okay, that's my next video. Like to be honest with you, I was not gonna. So I went and saw the Taylor Swift movie, and I was not gonna do a video of it until I got there, and I was like, this would be a good video because I went. And it was actually in the, like the theater threw like this event where like there's like props, there's like there was like it was a cool event for a movie. So that's why I made the video. I'm sure a lot of people who are subscribed to me, that's not their go-to kind of video, but it did pretty well. But I know that I got some comments being like, why did you see this? And why are you making a video about this? This has nothing to do with anything rad, so I know it was a little, it wasn't in my wheelhouse, but it was a cool experience and I wanted to document it and kind of show maybe some people who couldn't go out to see it and I also want to see if other people had the same experience as I did. So I did not plan on doing a video until I got there, and I was like, "Oh, this is a cool showing."
And Chucky had to take a back seat now.
I know, Chucky.
But I hear you though, man. It's crazy. In front of me right now, in front of this table, is a box that's got a friggin' Ghostbusters backpack thing in it that I got from Hasbro that I spent a lot of money on. That was like one of those. It gave you perks and it was like, it was you could only pre-order it for a limited time. I mean, dude, I don't even remember when I had this, but this has probably been sitting here since January.
Oh, wow.
And I haven't even opened it yet. I mean, if the thing's broken, I've already gone past like any kind of return date on the damn thing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what.
Yeah, I know, really.
But it's one of those things where I'm like, I want to do a video on it, but it's so big that I think I'm going to have to bring it to my brother's and use it at his setup because I don't have, this table's not big enough to even hold it. So
yeah,
that's how I find a different spot to do it. Yeah. But it's like, it's crazy. Cause like I said, this thing came out in January and of course people have already done videos on it. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to eventually do a video on it. It's like a year later, I'm going to finally do a video on this thing.
Yeah, I know.
So,
really.
It's just crazy.
Yeah. And I also have a video that you guys might be interested in. I went to Halloween 45 Years of Terror and I was on Sean Clark's bus and then we go to like the filming locations and I document these houses and, we go to random places like the house from Liar Liar. And
I was gonna say, I knew there was a couple houses that I remember when I watched it, I was like, oh, I didn't like, is that something that was part of the tour? Like just because it was known for something? And I'm like, I wonder who did all the research on all these houses.
Dude, it's just Sean Clark knows everything. I think he does it all the time. So we were walking, he's like, oh, that's the Space Jam house. So it's weird. Like you'll walk down this block. He's like, that's from Whatever It Takes. That's from, Shocker. And it's funny because we were at one of the Shocker houses and they were outside.
That person didn't realize it.
Yeah, they had no idea. They're outside they're outside like planting like flowers. Like, oh no. And Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, we were at the garbage day scene and the lady's like, I've never even heard of that movie. And she looked it up. She's like, oh wow. Okay. It's just, she looks out the window and sees a busload of people. Anyways, I was on Sean Clark's bus. So I document some of that and I document the whole weekend, and then I go to the Pee Wee Herman dinosaur. So if you ever want to see what that looks like inside, I document it all in that video. It's a longer video; it's about 35 minutes long, but it just kind of gives you, if you guys want to go to Halloween 4 or Halloween 50, you can that's kind of what you can expect, maybe.
I mean, but again, was that the first time you ever did a lot of that stuff? So I mean, that's huge, man. That's like
my first time doing all that. Yeah.
I'm watching it and I'm like, damn it, man, I want to go to the Pee Wee thing. I want to go to Halloween. I want to go walk around those streets where all those things are filmed. Like, and you did it. So of course, document all you can because that's a great memory to have.
The one thing is like it was my first kind of vlog style, and
Mhm.
I didn't like I got no footage inside the convention just because I was so not overwhelmed, but I was so in the moment there. I wasn't thinking about taking my camera
I
out.
mean, you know, what
You
were
know,
you supposed why weren't
yeah,
you? I mean, it's not like you had somebody, like, messaging you all the time telling you to do shit the whole time, you know what I mean? So, like, what do you mean you didn't have extra time?
yeah.
You're like,
It was
"What do you need? What do you want me to do? I go stand in this line? Okay, I'll do
no,
it." No, I didn't have time to do anything. You were
no. It's
doing
just
things
like
for everybody else.
I'm just not used to like even when things happen, like when I'm at concerts, I don't take pictures or something. But that's something I'm trying to work on. You know, especially now that I have a channel, because I do a lot of cool things, and these are some things that people would want to see. You know, like I have a horror store here in Arizona that I think people would be interested in going. And right next to it is a horror bakery. That's a video that I might want to do someday because not
Mhm,
everybody has that
mhm.
in their location. You know,
You do a lot of stuff.
I try to.
Yeah, and I mean that's all great footage. I mean, but it's hard because you want to be in the moment, right? Like
Mhm,
even when I went to go see the Midnight not too long ago, I recorded a lot,
mhm,
but at the same time, I'm like, oh, this is great footage. It's I can have and look back on. I can do a
mhm.
post on it or whatever. But as you're doing it when they're on stage, all of a sudden after you're like one or two songs are done, you're like, well, I haven't even really even looked at them. I've looked at them
Oh,
through my
the
phone.
camera.
You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
is different, right? Because it's like you're
Mhm,
documenting memories, but at the same
mhm.
time, you're losing in the moment, right? So
Yeah.
it's hard, man.
Mhm.
But guys, it's late. We've been on this for 2 hours, over 2 hours
Uh,
on Halloween night.
mhm.
If you're still with us, I appreciate it. I know Cody appreciates it.
Yep.
Um, let us know in the comments below different movies or maybe specials that we didn't talk about, maybe ones we did that you really kind of remembered. And then people on the that are coming on the replay, do the same thing. And make sure we all hit that like button because it definitely spreads the word about the channel, about the
Mhm.
show, and I'd be super appreciative. And go subscribe to Dude Who Loves Movies on YouTube and on Instagram, and myself at Born to Be Rad on Instagram and YouTube as well. And this is the Rad Dude signing off. And like always, stay rad.
Stay you. And don't forget to roundhouse kick that like button.
You got it, baby.
Here's